What's up? What's good, baby? The stream is indeed late. Sign your baby. Come here, little baby. Mwah. Side trance. Yeah, you can't go wrong there. Just turn your brain off and go. Got a little hammered last night. Hey, sometimes you gotta do it. Have you any of the Left 4 Dead games? Yeah, I played those a decent amount back in the day when they came out. I know some people still crank out runs on that all the time, which I'll try it here and there. I'll re-download it. It's always like free on Steam and shit. Tag your baby. Just like right on the ear, or what's the deal? That's what people should do. Instead of giving their babies earrings, they should give them tags so they don't lose it. Finally caught up on the podcast. Nice, there was a new episode yesterday. I feel like I gotta do like more promos on the podcast side of things for the YouTube stuff. Left 4 Dead is amazing. Sequel Back 4 Blood isn't as good. Oh, yeah, there's Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2, and then Back 4 Blood. I guess it is from the, is it from that Turtle Rock Studios or whatever? I don't exactly know what went wrong. I haven't really looked into it, but yeah, I remember Back 4 Blood was kind of a huge letdown, which is really sad. Can't promise me I'll try to make you clap again, but still. I appreciate it. Be careful back there. But yeah, I guess, what do you call it? Like a spiritual successor of sorts. Scooped a PS4 again, going to slay some Far Cry. Interesting. You sold your old PS4? I mean, I guess it is. People are on to PS5 now and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. The console situation is crazy. Mainly just because it's, I don't know. I remember not really feeling like super motivated to get to the PS4 before, obviously, since I had a PC and whatnot. But in a similar fashion, especially not the PS5, like I bought a family member of mine a PS5, but just because I know that that's what they play is console shit. I don't know, there's just nothing exciting. Joel's the top G of storytelling. This is true. I'm at the tippity top. And we're only halfway there. I need a lady who used to give her babies or you knew a lady that used to give her babies bows on the beach to make sure they didn't get lost. That's fair. Give them like a balloon so you can always keep track of them. Joel, I was fired. It's been a rough week. Really? What were you fired from, if you don't mind me asking? Hey, there's Fry. What's up, Fry? How many pizza rolls can you eat? I could probably eat 25 pizza rolls right now. Do I make food? Yeah, I mean, mainly just for myself, though, obviously. Like tonight was chicken burger, just like chicken patties with like buffalo sauce and stuff. But I just, you know, you throw it in the fucking air fryer. It's basically like the microwave of the modern age, but it's not as, I guess, definitely tastes a lot better. Do I DJ? That's what we're doing right now. Get your fucking hands the fuck up. I'm in bed with an injury and I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much pain. And this makes me feel better. That's good. Sorry, I was doing a boogie impression. Drop the fucking bass. Wait a second. Oh, there she blows. It's been a while since I've seen it live. I usually listen to your lives next morning at work, but I'm on vacation. I'm up late tonight for this. Yeah, my sleep schedule's been like extra fucked. I like try to make it good, and then I don't know, something about the holidays just made it even worse. Anyways, what is good? What's new with you guys? Someone got fired. Sounds like infected mushrooms playing in the background. I remember one time my friend gave me like all their infected mushrooms like music onto an MP3 player, and it was so many albums that's like all that would shuffle on to play. And I was not a big fan of infected mushrooms, honestly. There was something about their stuff that did not ring well with my ears. Did you watch the Nosferatu movie? And if so, what did you think about it? Didn't he kind of look like Borat? I didn't see it, no. Still haven't. I'm probably honestly just going to wait till it's on streaming. I'm not like super motivated to get to theaters to see sort of niche gothic, you know, horror. Yeah, quite literally the whole discography was on. It took up like half my MP3 player, half my Zune. My friend who's like my sister also lost her mom on top of me being, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's very tough. Infected mushroom lacks soul. You know, I honestly can't say I remember any of the music. I just remember like every time it would come on in my ears, I'd be like, ah, what is that? The hell is that? Kill it. Bass Nectar. I vaguely recall Bass Nectar. It sounds familiar. Thanks for getting me and my ex through the pandemic quarantine. You're welcome. You would not have survived without me. Every time that virus reared its ugly head, I was there to swat it away. Their work isn't for everyone, which is fair. They did a Psy Blues style track on Monster Cat a couple of years ago, extremely good. Oh yeah. That's the thing, it's like I'm talking shit on them, but I legitimately like can't even remember what it was, and who knows, maybe it was quite literally just like this and my tastes have changed and maybe I would enjoy them. I saw the Sonic movie. They actually played Live and Learn, but I played Live and Learn, but it wasn't that great. They rushed the song, so it kind of sucked. Oh, I hate that. I hate whenever like the songs they've chosen for soundtracks take up like 15 seconds and then they're done with it. It's like, what was the fucking point of that? You spent 10 grand to get the rights to that song in a movie, and now you didn't even use it. Hi, please get a birthday shout out. It's on the 5th. Love the content. Happy birthday, Ethan. My mother's birthday is also on the 5th. Coincidental. There's the main subreddit No Sleeper, or are there other ones? Yeah, there's r/Let's Read Official is a subreddit, but No Sleep is just one where, you know, I don't even know why I listed that in the past. I have nothing to do with No Sleep, to be honest with you. But if you ever wanted to post your stuff somewhere there on my subreddit, Let's Read Official, or Let's Not Meet, or Creepy Encounters, all that kind of stuff. You're my favorite YouTuber. Thank you for all the stories. You're welcome, Finn. Good to see you. Thanks for the love. I had to start working out again. Took off a week for the holidays. I feel gross. Yeah, that's all good. Sometimes a week is good for the nervous system to kind of take a little break too, you know, and allow your body to heal in ways maybe it didn't really have an opportunity to before. Sometimes you come back from that week off and you're actually stronger or like more capable. What's up, Mercenary? How we doing? And Nips here. I've been listening to you heavy since 2020. I started working on an assembly line for a warehouse. Oh, nice. Are you allowed to listen to stuff while on the assembly line, or do they kind of like force you to lock the frick in so your loose clothing doesn't get pulled in, you get turned to mush? I've been listening for 8 years. When I was trying to be sober and sleep through the sickness, I found you to be very soothing. To my puking soul. I'm sorry, Hannah. Yeah, I'm glad you're getting and have gotten sober. Hell yeah. There's really no better freedom than... I often tell that to myself. I'm like, well, at least I'm not addicted to something like drugs or alcohol or whatever. Not to put anybody down for it. I'm just like, fuck. Because I could totally see myself being that, and then just like, you know, just constantly being like, you know, it's just one of those things. Like, if you can't accept me at my lowest, you can't have me at my pita. Bill insurance for Joel's detox. Yeah, who knows? Honestly, sometimes the best therapies for anything are free. I actually posted a story recently, but no hard feelings. If it gets passed up, I really just enjoying this. Oh, no worries. Yeah, sometimes it takes years for me to like finally like either get a story into a compilation, or, you know, because you're looking for a certain topic or whatever it might be. But I just appreciate you posting. Hopefully we can get to it. How's my family? Is going to treatment? He's not doing good. He left within like 3 days, and it was so funny because he was like telling me, he's like, I saved you money. I'm like, bro, you did not save me money. I had to pay for you to go there in the goddamn first place, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where like my life is pretty normal, right? And then all of a sudden that person is just going through like the most chaos of all time, you know, all originating from himself. And you know, it's just like you can only deal with it for so many years till you just kind of like turn your brain off to it. So Tesla Cybertrucks are just blowing up now. You know, it was a weird circumstance because I was reading that article before it came on, and it was saying something about how that truck pulled up, how it had like canisters of gasoline and fireworks in the back, and that the driver died and that the passengers are injured, but they had like the police have yet to like process everything to figure out who was the dead driver and all the other stuff. But the way it blew up, honestly, I mean, you could see the fireworks going off and stuff. It was very weird, and I'm like, is this another like terrorist thing similar to I didn't know if it was connected to what happened in New Orleans there, which is just so fucked. Big love from Texas. Keep up great work. Hope you have an amazing year. Thank you, Roman. Good to see you. How am I? I'm good though. Got to work out today. My buddy's been in town, so we've been just like working out together, and it's way more fun to like work out with somebody, you know. The story's about a rest stop in Arizona, in case you're curious. Okay, nice. Yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out. Both rented from same company. Really? Wait, so the car that he drove through people was rented? I mean, I don't know if that's just a coincidence or what, since I feel like there aren't that many like rental companies. Yeah. Kicking off 2025 with a bang. Oh dang, I didn't even know all that. I thought it just parked on its... that's what I thought too, which I honestly wouldn't be surprised, because those Tesla trucks just look like complete garbage. And especially like, you get them in the winter, they can't drive in the snow, and then their like components just freeze. I don't know, man. There's something about like all those electric vehicles that are just complete horse shit. Just stick to the tried and true. I've started back drinking protein shakes in preparation for dental work, getting partial dentures due to a soft food diet, and I must say, I feel a hell of a lot better. Well, that's good. I mean, yeah, whey protein is definitely very bioavailable and able for your body to like break it down and utilize it in the protein synthesis process. Joel, you're 1 year older than me. Has it happened that your parents ask you when you're going to settle down and start forming a family? Yeah, my grandma asked me that from time to time, but I don't know. I mean, I think that would make them very much happy for me to like be married officially and have children, etc., etc., but they don't really bug me about it. What do you think about pea protein? Is it good as whey or not? From what I've heard, pea protein is not as quote-unquote bioavailable as the milk-based whey protein. I mean, I guess we could look that up honestly right now. Do you know what bioavailability differences there are between whey and penis pea protein, like urine protein? What's up, Swampy? How you doing, dog? Yeah, we just yapping. Whey protein, high bioavailability. Whey protein has one of the highest bioavailable scores among protein sources, which is a biological value BV of around 104 to 110. Its protein digestibility corrected amino acid score is 1.0, the highest possible score. Pea protein has moderate bioavailability. Pea protein has a lower biological value, BV of 65 to 75 compared to whey, and its amino acid profile is still high at 0.8 to 0.9. Looks like whey protein rapidly absorbs, whereas pea protein is a slower absorption. And whey protein has superior muscle building potential due to its amino acid profile and absorption speed. Whey is highly effective. Yeah, I mean, sometimes like we kind of look at things as like, oh, it has protein in it, but it's like, I mean, the term protein can mean all sorts of things sometimes. Sierra Steiner, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you, Sierra, and welcome. Sad to find girls when the only thing I touch is literally just my laptop and weights at the gym. Yeah, that's all good, man. I mean, it's all good. I don't know. Sometimes when it comes to going down the official path of marrying somebody or having children, I look at just all the people around me who seem to have like broken relationships or, you know, broken families and all that kind of stuff, and I'm like, maybe it's probably for the better that I, you know, held off on really jumping into any of those things. I mean, and I do hope it to happen at one point, especially the having kids part, but I don't know. How's Depth Purr? He's good. He's once again at my feet making biscuits on his black blanket. It's pretty funny. Like every time I'm down here, he just goes right to it. I figured out how much I need per day based on weight, and I found out the hard way when I was constipated for almost 3 days. Yikes, yeah. You're 17, you got a kid on the way. Anyone have advice? It's tough, man. I mean, it's not tough. I mean, it's going to be a blessing. It's just like, unfortunately, at that age, you just kind of have to like lock the fuck in and make it happen, and, you know, try, you know, don't give up. Don't give up on your kid. Don't give up on the relationship, and just try your best and try to, you know, keep working and finding occupations that can support that system. You know, but it doesn't mean that life itself has to end. It doesn't mean you can't go to college. It doesn't mean you can't like go. I mean, you obviously, I would highly advise against like going out and partying and all that kind of stuff, because sometimes when people are young and have kids, they still want to like go out and get fudged up and just kind of be like, just kind of go through that phase. But you might just have to skip that. And honestly, life is a lot better when you don't need to party and all. I mean, party is pretty overrated. You can still find friends and community external from that and still grow. And you can bring your kids anywhere you want along the way, you know what I mean? You can take them to the gym with you, you can take them to your job, you can take, you know, just be there with them and they will love you. I'm just scared because I'm on probation and don't have my stuff together. I stopped partying and using in general. It's good, you know, this might be the wake-up call, and, you know, we are the company that we keep, so it might also make sense to just really try your best to distance yourself from the individuals that may or may not have led you down the path of getting in trouble with the law and that kind of thing, you know. And that there's all sorts of stories throughout humanity that it's like I was struggling before and then something changed and now I'm a better man for it, you know what I mean? Praise God, praise God, praise God. All right. Usually choosing a partner it's you know, life moves fast, you know, you can't, not all of us go through the same path, you know? Yeah, New Year's Eve was fun. I was just watching college football. And it was kind of, when I was watching it, I was like, this is honestly how it should be. Because, I mean, sitting there and watching, like, whatever the fuck because then so college football ended, right? And then we were like, all right, let's go over to the New Year's Eve, like, shit. And it was just like your typical, like, vapid fucking celebrity nonsense culture that is so fucking meaningless and pointless. Like, I don't give a fuck about any of the performances. I couldn't give a single goddamn fuck what Anderson Cooper has to say about anything on Earth, or any of those, like, pundits, you know what I mean? So it's just like, what the fuck is this stupid shit? Can't someone do something cool? Oh, right, like play football. It's for the best, man. Surround yourself with people who care about your health and avoid those who don't care about taking care of themselves and you at the same time. Yeah, that's crazy. I saw Ohio State fucking dominated the Oregon Ducks compared to last time. It's just kind of wild. Honestly, I do feel like they have the momentum and strength to win the national championship. Alright, so yeah, tonight we got some lay Reddit stories. I haven't played Iron Man and Rivals. I have a little bit. He's honestly only played like one round as him, and he's really strong. Just because it's one of those things where obviously when you're up in the air, you can get melded by people that focus you because you are just sort of like this floating target, and you oftentimes don't really get the pocket heals you might need to survive. But if they're not dealing with you, you're such a fucking terror. It's insane. Last time I checked in, I was a senior in high school studying for AP Bio. I'm almost 23 years old and starting a master's degree in healthcare field in a few weeks. Thanks for all the late nights. You're welcome, RC. Good to see you. That's crazy. Time really does fly. Make sure you find community resources like ASAP. Oh, like SNAP. Pennsylvania has the LIHEAP program to help with energy costs, for example. Okay, that's true. Yeah, don't be ashamed to get assistance from the government and all that kind of stuff till you find, your way, especially with kids. Claire Connolly, thanks for 29 months. Says, hey Joel, hey Buttersock Cold, Happy New Year all. Thank you, Claire. Happy New Year to you. 2025, baby. All right. Wait, let me make sure I cleared my hard drive. Any more Dogman videos? Sadly, no, I don't think so. Maybe in the paranormal stuff. I met Leo, an 18-year-old male at the time, during my 17-year-old female at the time junior year of high school. Leo was an immigrant from Guatemala and was new to my high school. We had many classes together, but we both enjoyed choir a lot. One day we were coming back from a choir trip, and I mustered up the courage to sit with him on the bus and begin a conversation. He charmed me immediately, and we talked for about 3 hours and enjoyed the time so much, and he gave me a cute origami boat with his number and Snapchat on it, and I felt like I had fallen pretty hard. We spent the next 10 days messaging and snapping every single day. We sat next to each other in every class and started eating lunch in the library together. I began to notice a few red flags that I chose to ignore because I thought I was kind of being crazy. The first was that anytime I invited him to an activity or hangout outside of school, he would blatantly refuse. There was never any excuse or reason. The answer was just a sort of simply nope. I invited him to several things, even some with my family, and he would never even consider it. The next red flag started when he would ask me questions but never allow me to actually answer them. He'd ask a question, and right as I begin to respond, he would interrupt with a much more personal question. For example, "What are you doing today?" "Oh, I'm going to..." And then he'd go right to, "How many boyfriends have you had?" It was all very strange. On day 10, I was walking my dog and I got a strange message from him. "I had a dream and I want to tell you about it." At first I was actually pretty thrilled and kind of curious, but then when he started sending a bunch of messages through, I got really sick. The dreams had... Yeah, what do you guys have any resolutions for 2025? Need more paranormal, 911, EMS, firefighter, and first responder videos. Those were solid. Hey, Mr. KW Jones, how we doing? What is good in the hood? I'll be listening on the way to Georgia tomorrow, looking forward. Nice, safe travels. Improve time management, get through 2025, that'd be nice, yeah. Stay sober and work out more often, get off probation. Hell yeah, there you go. Take care of the kid. Not limp anymore from my acetabular fracture. It's been a year. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I wonder... I had like a lot of success with like the BPC peptide injections. Maybe you can talk to like a hormone doctor or like clinic about those, because some of those like injury type things, stuff that you've been nagging you for a while, they seem to really help. But I also kind of wonder if maybe like building up some muscle around that area might assist you as well. Moving out of your parents' house for the first time this year. Nice, Grace. Best of luck to you. It will be fun. Get back in shape. You turned 30 last year. Oh, no worries. Yeah, 30 just means time to get hyper locked in. The dreams he had were a bunch of very descriptive, weird fantasies about me. All of them were sickening and objectified my body in some way. All of them were sickening and objectified my body in ways that no one would be comfortable with. He started telling me the types of photos that he wanted me to take. God damn it. He started telling me of the types of photos he wanted to take of me and things he wanted to be doing to myself in them. It wasn't arousing at all. It was honestly very scary. Then he told me how he wanted to meet up in this secretive... God damn it. The grammar's not even bad. I'm just fucking bad at reading. Then he told me how he wanted to meet up in secret several times a week, that nobody would know. And that's when I responded, "No, just please lose my number and never talk to me again." And I blocked him on everything. I called my friend who had him on Snap as well, and she frantically told me that he was adding photos to his story. All of them were explicit photos of girls that looked a lot like me. They had the same body type, hair color, skin tone, etc., and he did this for 2 months until he graduated and announced to the class that he would be moving to California. Throughout those 2 months, he would constantly try to talk to me at school the way he first did when we were harmlessly flirting, but I shut it down and told him to go away. I thought I was in the clear, but that was not the case. All summer, I would get messages from random numbers. "You look pretty in that pink shirt. What did you order?" I ordered the burger. "It's a nice day for the fair, right?" It's a nice day for the fair, right? Anytime I went out with friends, he was there, and I would never see him, but he would message me something that I would know that he was there. All of the numbers were burner phones, and at the same time he was posting photos on his Instagram of being in California. His new life there, and how he was getting a new job, house, etc., and none of the pictures had his face in them though. I just deleted all of my socials, changed my number, and eventually after I graduated, my family moved to a new town and I followed. He clearly knew He clearly no longer knew where I was, but I would still get messages and emails with fake profiles of him trying to stalk my friends and family, and it continued for 3 more years until one day he just kind of stopped. I never heard from him again. Eventually I got my socials back, but made everything private. I'm now married and actually doing great at my job, but I'll never forget how awful of an experience that was. Every few years it resurfaces and plays through my mind on repeat for months at a time. Alright. You're Joe King, you're the king of jokes. I've been off opioids and benzos for almost a full year. That's good. Those are tough things to get away from, so I do hope that you can maintain it and just fill your time with family and growing yourself, both professionally, and do something physical like exercise and all that kind of stuff. And if you can fill your time with that sort of novelty, I think the brain can eventually get away from the other stuff. Can I throw it in a circle? Like a hula hoop? Off your benzos as of 2 months. Hate not sleeping, but feel so much better now. That's good. Yeah, my one friend I mentioned before was on Ativan, and he only took like a little bit, but it ended up creating a dependency in him that once he stopped and was getting all these panic attacks and not being able to sleep, he didn't know what was going on. Like, he quite literally had no idea that they were causing issues for him, and then so he's been tapering off of those for quite some time. How long does it take you to find stories good enough for videos? It's a decent amount of time. Just I have people, especially through the email system, let's read submissions at gmail.com, send them in there, going through and finding things that match certain criteria for a specific video, and once they can do that, they kind of send me a relatively editing grammar, but just all of the write-ups and stuff compiled together. But then if there's not enough word count for something, sometimes Sam will do, I'll let him know what topic we're trying to do, and he'll do true crime stuff to fill in within that word count. You're on 3 milligrams per day. Wouldn't have touched them if I had any idea. Yeah, it's tough. And the doctors just kind of hand it out like candy, even though they're the fucking ones sending people down this pathway to hell. One of my favorites, the kids in the trailer hiding from a monster and parents aren't home, looks through windows and stuff. Wonder which one that was. You should try and read some drug trip stories for a video maybe and see how it'll do. I mean, I did do 2 volumes of that in the past. I don't know, I think they're still up. Drug trip stories. Do all the stories for your videos come from the same singular source? I mean, we got Reddit, we got my Reddit, we got email, which is really the biggest one, and then sometimes it would be 4chan, but I haven't really done a ton of 4chan videos in a while. Favorite Christmas treat, either peppermint or peanut brittle. Yeah, peanut. Anything peanut butter is my favorite. It was autumn of 2015. I was 23 years old, and I'm 31 now. During that time, I lived in Lancaster as I was studying at Lancaster University. And for those who may not be familiar, Lancaster is a small and rather quaint town in the north of England. And as a student, you could either live at the university campus or in private accommodation in the town. I had decided to live in a newly built, renovated apartment in a nice side of town, and yes, it was very expensive, sadly. I had already been studying for 2 years and had reached my 3rd year. By this time, I had grown accustomed to the layout of the town and felt comfortable and safe living there semi-independently, with 2 other friends who were also studying at the university. Since my first year, I had decided to improve my fitness by taking nightly runs around either the campus or the town. As we were living in the town center by my third year, I would run either with my housemate or alone. The important thing to note about Lancaster, and this will be important later, is that it has quite a large residential area that is hilly and far removed from the bustling center, which at that time was a hub for the students or the local northern folk, probably drinking in pubs or eating pies. Occasionally, I would run with my housemate. However, I preferred to run alone and listen to some kind of heavy metal. I'm a big fan of Deftones during that period of time. And on this particular day, as I said, a chilly autumnal autumnal? No way, really? Autumnal, interesting. How many years of running LR before you started to rapidly gain followers? I would say I started in like 2014, and I was kind of doing random shit like reading Wikipedia pages, and then I tried creepypasta and had some success with that. But it wasn't until I started doing the True Scary Stories in 2017, probably almost a solid year after like Mr. Nightmare and those like types of channels were popping off, that I started getting some followers, you know what I mean? So honestly, a lot of the times it just comes down to like finding your niche within the YouTube space and kind of sticking with that so that the audience that's following you can look forward to more stuff similar, you know what I mean? That's why you see so many channels like, I don't know, if they deviate too much, that like really cuts into their views, and then YouTube starts to kind of like deprioritize their channel, which is sort of sad. Have you ever had any addiction problems? I have not, no, thankfully. I had, like I said, a family that I've seen kind of go through it, so I was relatively kept away from that pretty strongly and kind of pounded into my head to avoid it. It's $400 for 12 kilos of kratom direct from the plantation. That's crazy. Yeah, my buddy had like some issues with kratom, and that was another one of those things where he thought it was just like something natural from the gas station that like, you know, helped him out, and then it turned out to be like almost have similar withdrawal symptoms to others. I'm addicted to magnesium, yeah. Do you think Jean Bonnet's parents killed her? I don't know. I think we read the story or kind of went over the case on the channel one time, and I do recall like kind of being inclined to think that the parents may have had something to do with it. What kind of channels and content do you watch just in free time, like outside of work? Lately it's just like commentary shit, you know what I mean? Mainly on like video games and culture and stuff. So like a lot of the times I notice, what's his name? Just Asmongold videos pop up all the time. Have him in the background giving his commentary on shit. But I'll listen to a lot of like philosophy videos or just like stuff on like current day politic crap, and I'm kind of burnt out from it though, just over the years of having it in the background. I come to find that like some of the more relaxing shit that actually, like, you know, where you actually notice you're like, holy shit, I genuinely get a good feeling from this, is I would watch like lore videos. Like I watch lore videos either about video games or lore videos about just different worlds, like Lord of the Rings. Like this one channel, it's called like In Deep Geek. I don't know if you've ever seen that, related to lore videos with Lord of the Rings. I mean, they also do Game of Thrones, but I'm not really familiar with it. And something about that just feels very peaceful. You know, there's no divisiveness to it. There's no like trying to like own the libs or whatever the fuck, you know, people do. It's just, you're just enjoying. How's simul streaming going? Let's check. Do we have, oh yeah, guys, go subscribe to my Twitch. Let's read. Okay, wait a second. How do I even get there? Twitch. There we go. We have one person over there watching. Boom, baby. We're blowing up. follow my Twitch. It's so sick, dude. It's the coolest Twitch on the internet. Anyone ever tried galantamine for lucid dreams? Never heard of that. Feet. Show us the pink. Oh, shit. Nuva, what's up, dude? Sorry, yeah, and I apologize if I don't give any love to the Twitch chat, though hopefully as it starts to grow I can have both chats up to kind of communicate. It's an Alzheimer's drug, and that's what you're taking? Just recreationally taking it? You have a great narrating voice, awesome channel. Listening before I go to sleep. Vancouver, BC. Thank you, friend. Good to see you. Alright. Where were we here? On this particular day, as I shed. Crap, how do you say it again? Autumnal. On this particular day, as I said, a chilly autumnal evening, I decided to run alone. It was about 8 p.m. and I had my earphones in. I had started to run up to the more isolated district that led to a very pretty residential area in a large green called Williamson Park. It had a butterfly museum on the top of a hill. And next to the park was a very large graveyard, the kind that is miles wide and had different areas. Large yew trees, crumbling graves, and a crypt in the center overrun with leaves and ivy. What was especially creepy about this particular cemetery was that it had the ruin of an old mental asylum or hospital at the other side. You could actually sneak in if you walked across the width of the cemetery and crawled through a small hole in the fence that led to the asylum grounds. This was not advised, though, as guard dogs roamed the derelict building. It was not a place that you wanted to be during the night. So I had made my way past Williamson Park and up to the entrance of the graveyard. Immediately, my eyes were drawn to something small standing at the imposing gates of the graveyard. They were kind of tall, black iron gates that were at the bottom of a little winding path. I felt a little apprehensive, but it wasn't unusual to see people walking their dogs, etc., out of the graveyard, and so I started to slow my pace to a walk in the direction of the shape. And as I drew nearer, I realized that shape was a child, around 9 to 10 years old, and they were running towards me frantically. They looked panicked and scared, and I think that they were crying, and I vividly remember that the girl was not wearing a coat, only a thin dress that would not be suitable for the harsh Lancastrian autumn. Shit. Isn't it kind of interesting that like people from the UK just sort of have like a much stronger grasp on language? Now granted, I guess that's where the language originates from maybe, but like I just don't know if it's like the education system or what it is, because I do know that sometimes people from the UK can also get caught up in things that Americans might not get caught up in. So I wouldn't say that there's some like crazy differential in like intelligence or anything like that. But anytime I read anything that they send in, or I don't know, there's just a certain degree of control of the language or understanding of it. The United States is like the UK's very distant redneck cousin. I guess that would make sense, yeah. But I mean, obviously here in the US, it's like we have our own million different like subcultures. But I am curious, just from like a young age, I feel like it would maybe their education system, especially within like grammar and the English language, is at a much higher standard, perhaps. I've never heard that people from the UK have a better understanding of language. I don't think that's true at all. Oh, well. I don't know. From my perspective, it's just like anytime I read anything they send in, it just seems like their grasp of relaying information seems to be consistently, and I'm just speaking from an anecdotal perspective, just consistently better at it, their use of language and like adjectives and all sorts of descriptions is like, it just feels very much like you're reading, I don't know, a solidly well-written article, you know? The UK education system is probably better than ours, it seems. I would probably lean in that direction, yeah. I do wish that they actually challenge people in school at a younger age in the United States more so. I don't like the fact that you almost have to go to like private schools to get something that challenges young people's minds. Do you ever have to say aluminum, or do you say aluminium? Yeah, I've heard people say aluminium, aluminum, alumnium. I wrote my D&D character's backstory today. It felt like I was starting to write a book. It was super fun. That is cool. It does seem like a fun little thing to do within the D&D universe. I feel like especially the people that are like the dungeon masters are very, very creative people. Do I speak any other languages? I don't know. Aluminium. The U.S. isn't doing most kids in school age any favors, and many parents don't participate in their own kids' education either. Bad combo. That's true. That is true. It's almost like, you know, as a parent, you really have to go like above and beyond to, in many ways, protect them from the school system's education. Trying to challenge kids in grade school is just too much, is redundant, and would only make it harder to graduate. How come? Because I feel like that's when their minds are like most malleable. So if you kind of like help them to understand, especially like language and writing at a much more rapid pace early on, their foundation and understanding of it probably would be able to be much more powerful going on later. It just seems like as you get older, it's harder to learn. I wish our schools were more geared towards inspiring children to explore what they enjoy and pursue it rather than teaching them to be perfect employees. True, yeah. And then it's like they do that, and then, you know, people like Elon Musk just want to like outsource all of the employees and work them to the fucking bone while degrading wages anyways. So I don't know. Whoever is like training the education system, they just want slave labor. That's all they fucking want. People that are there just enough to work the machines and whatever the fuck. The participation award they give out needs to go. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have no idea what day-to-day elementary school culture would even appear as, because I'm sure there's a massive fluctuation between states and cities and everywhere. Just got here, but I absolutely agree. That's why teaching kids to be bilingual works so well. For example, it's harder to learn a language the older you get. Yeah, and that's kind of how I imagine that sort of plasticity of the child's mind extends to more challenging topics. Like, I've seen some very intelligent kids. You know, you see the kids at like 3 years old in China learning how to play Beethoven and shit on the piano, right? And it's like, if they can do that, I can imagine they can have a pretty strong grasp on like writing and language, and especially mathematics. And then even more so, even probably more important probably would be how to teach yourself stuff, you know, how to learn things on your own. Because I think a lot of the time so many of us are sort of anticipating some type of system, some type of authority figure to tell us how to learn and what to do and just guide us there to a sense of success, when in reality, once you get into real life, it's all about like, what can you do independently? The Rockefeller system. I remember hearing about that. I was curious, but I guess it would make sense. You just like hijack those types of systems and slowly dumb down the population over time. And then anybody that disagrees with it, you just demonize them. That's why like the demonization of like homeschools and private schools, I always feel very frustrated towards, because it's like, sure, there might be people who say like, oh, well, they're pushing like religious whatever, but it tends to be the overall education related to those like important topics. Oftentimes, I don't know, maybe they get more personalized and consistent experience with it, though I'm sure there are other negative effects as well. Oil is expensive. Oh, man. It's so weird, just like what even is reality sometimes. Like if you often think just like some sort of uncontacted tribe in South America or something, you know, what would it be like to give them a Zin upper decky? I'm just kidding. But like, just the fact that like their day to day, like people's, like to be a human being, your day to day as a kid, maybe by the time you reach 8 years old, your education sort of just revolves around like survival techniques of gathering food and water and hunting and things of that nature. And now we've kind of arrived at this point where we have education systems where kids are just in school all day, right? Which I would agree is a good thing just for like their basic socialization and circadian rhythm and other educational topics, but it also is just an interesting concept in regards to like humanity. Like there's really, you know, when it comes to being human, life is so chaotic and strange, it doesn't necessarily owe you an education per se. You could literally go be raised in the woods by wolves and still technically be human. Your brother's girlfriend teaches 8th grade and some of these kids can't even read. Yeah, that's pretty sad, honestly. I could see like maybe making it to like 5th grade or 4th grade and having some struggles there, but 8th grade, I mean, I feel like at that point you would have to be in some type of special ed class till you're caught up to your peers. Love your voice and content, friend. Thank you, Emily. Good to see you. Electric wolves love electric sheep. True. Oh, man. I don't know. I just think about all those like weird futuristic sci-fi concepts that you would see within like, you know, some sort of dystopian future or whatever. And objectively speaking, I mean, if they want to continue to dumb down the population, decrease the population size, whatever it might be, I mean, it all can just happen. There's really nothing like, there's really no set in stone, like predetermined destiny of humanity, you know? And I guess that really just means that it comes down to the individual once again to make its own choices for their own self as an organism or whatever we perceive ourselves to be as people and our identity. I think school is a scam and it's designed to make you think a certain way and just teaches you to listen to someone else narrating your thoughts and opportunities. I think that makes sense. You know, it's there are good benefits to it, but I mean, how many times when it comes to like more philosophical ideas does your teacher just sort of say like, no, that is incorrect. I am the authority figure at the front. Please consider everything I say to be gospel. And granted, most of the time, like, I feel bad for teachers because they're just trying to, like, get through their fucking job, you know? They don't want to fucking be there most of the time. I mean, some of them might be motivated, but it's like they're just trying to, like, fill space, fill time. They're just trying to, like, take up your day. Lovely T, welcome back for 22 months. Happy New Year's, Joel. Wishing you blessings, health, and prosperity. Thank you for getting me through 2024. You're welcome, Lovely T. I feel like we haven't seen you in here in a while. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're yapping hard, Eric. But Yapperton. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. There's really no answer to anything. There might be some that do it better in certain areas, which, if that's the case, I think individually we should choose to strive for those, but that's all it is just words. I vividly remember that the girl was not wearing a coat, only a thin dress that would not be suitable for the harsh Lancastrian autumn. She asked me if I could help her. She was desperate and seemed to be frightened of something, and she kept looking back into the graveyard, which at this point was totally pitch black beyond the gates. I mean, there was absolutely no light beyond the path. As the graveyard was quite large, it was chilling to see the depth of the blackness and the vulnerable child standing at the mouth of the gate, helpless. I don't recall what the girl said exactly, but then I offered to call the local police. I had typed 999 into my phone and had it on loudspeaker, and the girl immediately changed. She was not happy about the fact that I was calling the authorities. That was clear. She stopped crying and she seemed almost angry, demanding, and insisted that she did not sneed. Oh shit, it's a setup. My one teacher is so chill that we can whip out our phones out and scroll while we copy the board. He helps us when we need it, obviously, but he's super chill. He also challenges us to chess. Well, that's cool. I do feel like, even objectively speaking, like I understand that is chill with the phones and stuff. But that's one thing that I honestly, and I know this is such a boomer take on stuff, but I do really worry about the future of young individuals' minds. Because I look at me, like I have conditioned my brain, right? To like reach for my phone, pick it up, look at it, check the notifications, scroll, get distracted. Like it's a strange habit, like picking up a cigarette and smoking. Maybe not to the same detriment, but it is odd. And from a young age, I can only imagine like having that by the time your brain is like still developing. Because I really didn't get like a smartphone till I was like well into my 20s. I almost like avoided it. And I do kind of wonder to what degree that does really limit people's abilities to not just pay attention in school, because yes, like everybody that does school is going to get like diagnosed with ADHD, because it's fucking hard to just sit there and stare at some teacher yapping all day. But I do also worry that those same individuals do eventually at some point have to sit down and like learn something on their own and accomplish a task that isn't immediately gratifying. And with phones, I don't know. If I feel like if I ran a school, I would want everyone to like essentially just leave their phones in their locker all day, and there would be like no negotiation on that. I'm trying to uncondition my brain from that, but it's super difficult growing up in the tech era. Yeah, for sure. I mean, all you can do is just sort of lockbox it away from yourself, especially if you feel that there are things that you want to accomplish, whether it's sitting down and writing something or sitting down and learning a new skill, even if it's just like playing piano or something. Like, just take that phone and throw it in a safe and set a timer on the safe. Your desires, personality, and true feelings and thoughts are what we should lead your way of life. I believe it's your real destiny. Hard to explain. Thinking and awareness is very important. Yeah, I mean, I think about that. I think about like how many years I spent in school. I mean, obviously like when I look back and reflect on like my days in middle school, like elementary school, middle school, and high school, like sure there was like this unconscious aspect of like learning things. But literally the only benefit I see to most of it was just sort of anxiously learning social skills with other people, which there was a development there for sure, which I'm thankful for. But then when the fact that most of the time like school was only really in the back of my mind as far as being accomplished at that, and then I ended up just like gearing my successes towards creative endeavors such as this YouTube channel anyways, I do find it odd. When in reality, it's like we don't even really want to do half the shit we're forced to do for the majority of our developmental years, yet what other options do we have? I mean, it's like, isn't it like illegal to just stop? I don't know. You will be shot on sight if you're not in school. But at the same time, I mean, I'm sure it did keep me out of trouble, I suppose. It did teach me how to like stay focused on doing something and not giving up, because that's really important. Like when you don't get that immediate gratification of succeeding on YouTube, it does take a lot of just motivation to just keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it until it just fucking works, you know? It's super woke. I'm wokeified. I'm woker than Disney. It will be interesting to see what studies demonstrate decades later the effects of phone screen time has on society. I mean, I mentioned this before, but I've seen it with my like buddy's daughter and her like tablet, 4 years old, and she gets like really anxious with that thing, you know, just like frustrated, I do like the jokes where people, like, when you ask a kid to, like, tie their shoes and they don't know what they're doing, or, like, when you ask a kid to use an iPad and they're, you know, it's like Iron Man and, like, Jarvis in the suit or something. They're like, but, I don't know. Woke him on. I also kind of, like, wonder as far as, like, I know this sounds stupid, but, like, people who are on, like, laptops or computers all day, they already have that, like, sort of, like, turtle shell spondyliosis of the neck, you know? I imagine if I had, like, a cell phone since I was in, like, middle school, would my, like, neck be, like, bent over like the letter, like a candy cane or some shit? Jarvis, piss my pant. I have a ton of uneducated friends homeschooling their kids and honestly wondering how that's going to go. I have a doctorate degree, veterinarian, and I still don't feel equipped to prepare your kid. Yeah, I guess it would be something that you would just have to sit. Honestly, I mean, that might be a thing that you could chat with them, you know, just to see what standards they have to reach or what and how that's all going and stuff. And then it might be honest with you about the struggles of it and all that kind of thing. Hey Raza, how you doing? Show us the pink. There's no pink. It's pinkless. It's a pinkless society. The girl immediately changed. She was not happy about the fact that I was calling the police. That was clear. She stopped crying and seemed angry, almost demanding, and insisted that she did not need the police to help. I reassured her that it was best to inform them, even offered to walk her to the station, which was about 20 minutes back down the hill. And this is where the story gets weird and a little terrifying. The girl turned and ran back into the graveyard. She ran directly through the gates into the eerie blackness. She didn't turn back, just ran as quickly as possible until she had completely disappeared. And it then was... Fuck. It was then totally silent. I was spooked beyond belief. Now standing in a darkened street completely alone, I had so many questions. Who was the girl? Why was she alone? Why was she scared of the police? Why wasn't she afraid of the dark? And who might be she running to or from? I turned and ran all the way back down the hill, not stopping until I had reached a well-lit, built-up area. And safe to say, I didn't run on my own again at night. What's up, Rex? How we doing? Teenagers are literally the worst, especially girls. I was one, not looking forward to that time. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine being a teacher now, and especially I feel like teaching elementary school kids would be fun because they learn stupid stuff, whether it's just memes they see online, but it's like the capabilities of their cruelty only go so far. They might learn something like, say what, chicken butt, or like a bad word or something, and it might be kind of comedic. But I cannot imagine getting to middle school and just the shit that they use to dig into your psyche. It would be so painful. I do appreciate you, Joe. I think we all do here. I'm stoked to see what 2025 brings your channel. Buttersalt Call for Life. Thank you, Chicken. Joe, good to see you. I was also a horrid teenage girl. Sorry for punching that kid in the face in middle school. It's all good. I'm sure we all had a punch coming our way at some point, I wasn't exactly the most popular kid in high school. I was just this average girl, not cool enough to hang with the popular crowd, but not quirky enough to get bullied either. Honestly, if you ask most of my classmates today, they probably wouldn't even remember me. I grew up in a big city. I won't say where, but think of places like Detroit, Chicago, or Philadelphia. I grew up in a place like that, and my neighborhood was this mix of faded brick buildings and concrete jungles. There was always noise, honking horns, sirens, and stuff like that. It had its own kind of charm, but sometimes it felt a little heavy. And yeah, there was definitely a fair amount of crime. Like I said, I wasn't super popular. My claim to fame was that my dad owned a junkyard with an iron shredder, and it might sound a bit odd, but honestly, it was kind of fascinating. A few people wanted to come by just to watch that machine shred old washing machines and rusty bikes into tiny bits. The first time I saw it in action, I was about 10, and the noise was like thunder. I remember feeling scared watching how the twisted metal crumpled and... whoops. That would be kind of sick to go to a junkyard where they crush shit up. I feel like that's probably where the mob takes all their bodies, puts it into a car and smushes it to bits. I wouldn't be remembered either. Yeah, I don't know. That's one thing that I never really had a feeling for in my life, is like being remembered. It's got to be such a strange concept to put into one's mind at a young age, especially to say that upon your passing, you will be remembered by others, which in and of itself sounds like a good thing, but it also puts like sort of an abstract standard on the fact that you need to do something that must be talked about post-mortem, you know? And I feel like, I don't even know, it almost sounds like borderline creepy, like maybe you need to do something bad. Maybe you can't do anything good, so you need to do something bad. You know, just weird. Hence why I feel like maybe inclining a young person's mind towards some type of afterlife, they might not be as like obsessive with doing something insane. But also maybe that would like hinder them from trying their best, because they're just like, well, I'll just go to heaven afterwards. I don't know. He had punched my friend, his girlfriend, in her stomach and called her fat after she ate a burger. My final straw. It's okay. It's how people learn, you know. Don't do bad thing if you don't want bad thing done to you. The pank. What the hell is the pank? The pank and the stank. All in one package. I was bullied, but not like the kids get bullied nowadays. With social media and cell phones, you can't get away from it like before they existed. Yeah, that's true. I mean, my one buddy, his daughters are in college now. Well, his one daughter's in college now, but like he didn't let her have a cell phone, or didn't let her have social media rather, until she was, I think, 18, because he was just terrified that she would obsess over it and become depressed like so many other young teenage girls with social media and stuff. I once flipped off one of my bullies and someone told on me and I got fucking paddled. That's funny. I remember feeling scared watching how the metal twisted and crumpled. It was oddly beautiful in this sort of destructive way. All the girls in school were crushing on this guy named Marco, and of course I was too. He was a basketball star who worked out all the time. Plus, he always seemed super smart, like he had stocks figured out or something, and everyone knew he had some family problems, but he still radiated confidence. One night during a football game, he came over to talk to me, and my heart literally raced. I half expected someone to pinch me to wake up from this dream. He didn't say much though. He just said that he wanted to talk to me and asked me where he could find me at halftime. I said that we could meet at the front entrance. At halftime, we slipped away to his car, and he said he wanted to go to McDonald's. And that felt so random, but I wasn't going to complain. This was my first chance to hang out with Marco, and it was starting to feel almost like a date. Now, while we were driving, he suddenly pulled over and asked if he could show me something. He takes out a gun, and my heart dropped into my stomach. I was not ready to see that, and he says, "I need you to get rid of this." And everything around me went blurry. When someone holds a gun in front of you, all rational thoughts vanish, and I was terrified. I didn't want to be in that situation, and I couldn't really say no because he was holding a gun. My mind raced with all the things that could go wrong, and it felt like the weight of the world rested on my shoulders. I didn't ask questions. I just nodded, hoping to make things better. He told me to text him later saying, "It was nice seeing you at the game today," after I got rid of it. We went through the McDonald's drive-thru, but I didn't have any appetite. that was seriously weird, and I almost felt like I was being kidnapped, and in a way I kind of was. He didn't force me to get in the car with him, but I couldn't really tell him to let me go either, and in a way it felt like I was being intimidated into being in his car. Now anyways, he gave me the gun and dropped me off at my car in the school parking lot, and we said our goodbyes from there. I went to school and grabbed the keys to the junkyard, praying that my parents wouldn't catch me. Thankfully, they were upstairs and the keys were in the fridge, and it felt like I was living in some kind of bad movie. I drove to that junkyard, but then started... Why are the keys in the fridge? Keys were in the freezer. Just got your notifications, better late than never. Well, I'm glad to see you. That's what I do on the Instagram a little bit, because maybe someone will be more likely to see it there. Who would win, Loki versus Doctor Strange? Well, in Marvel Rivals, Doctor Strange is a tank. Loki is a healer. Actually, I haven't really tried either of them. I tried Doctor Strange a little bit, and he's not a very strong tank in my opinion. Like, I don't really feel like I can put out a lot of damage. And then Loki is a healer, I'm pretty sure, right? I don't really recall. I know he can kind of be trickstery. I drove to the junkyard, but then panic set in hard. What if opening the gate was too loud and someone heard me? What if an alarm went off? What if someone showed up while I was there? What if the gun got stuck in the shredder? I had never operated that thing alone. What if I accidentally hurt myself? What if I couldn't figure out how to operate the shredder in time? What if this whole plan backfired and made everything worse? I knew that this was going to work out. Oops. I just knew that this wasn't going to work out. And so instead, I went back to McDonald's, ordered a large meal because fries make everything better, and carefully slipped the gun into a bag with fries and a burger. I looked on Google Maps, found a park about 30 minutes away, and then drove there trying to stay calm. When I got to the park, I felt strangely detached from everything around me. I tossed the McDonald's bag into a trash can, and then I sat on the bench with my heart racing while trying to think of what to say if someone asked what I was doing. If anyone had approached me that night and asked if I was okay, I would have just asked them to call an ambulance for me. I felt so guilty that I literally felt sick. I have no idea how long I spent trying to calm down, but eventually I was ready to go home. Now later on, I found out Marco's sister had gotten mixed up in something truly horrific that night. She was involved in a violent robbery where she had used a gun to threaten a store owner. The store owner had not cooperated with her, and she had beaten the man's head with the gun, leaving him bloodied and dazed on the floor. Thankfully, no one was killed, but the brutality of it all felt terrifying and sad. That victim was an old man. I was caught up in something way darker than I'd ever imagined. When Marco's sister was arrested and eventually charged, I was terrified someone would find out what I'd done and link it back to me. I felt like I was carrying around this heavy secret and I was suffocating. The thought of being questioned by the police, or worse, because a suspect. Oops. Sorry, kitty. He's like directly at my feet. The thought of being questioned by the police, or worse, and becoming a suspect haunted me, and I never brought up the incident. I saw Marco around school and made sure to not even make eye contact, and thankfully I never heard anything more about it. The rumors faded and life went on. When girls talked about Marco, I said just enough to pretend like everything was normal. I still visit home occasionally and have seen Marco around. He's always surrounded by friends, laughing and carefree, but we never talk. It's terrifying how easily I was intimidated into participating in something so horrific, and each time I see him, it leaves me with a chill. Hey Jenna, what's up? Any other good video games out? Anybody playing anything fun? Oh, she wipe off the prints? I know. She probably wouldn't even know to do that. Only us true crime aficionados would have been able to get away with a crime like that. I don't know, I think about that one dude in, I think he was, where was he in Idaho? What was it? He like killed 4 girls or something, or people in a house in Idaho, college students. He was was he even guilty? Do you know anybody, the Idaho murders? Do we have an update on that? I'm gonna look it up. Any updates on the Idaho murders? I don't think he did it, really. Been hooked on Animal Crossing recently. Nice, yeah, that's a chill one. That and like, it seems like girls really like Animal Crossing and they like Sims. Those are the games that girls play to just like chill max. As of January 2nd, 2025, there have been several developments in the case concerning the murders of 4 University of Idaho students in November 2022. Brian Kohberger, the suspect charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary, is scheduled to stand trial beginning August 11th, 2025. Jury selection is set to commence on July 31st, 2025. The trial was initially slated for June 2025 but was postponed to allow adequate preparation time for both the defense and prosecution. Due to concerns about potential bias in Latah County, where the crimes occurred, the trial venue has been moved to Boise in Ottawa County. This decision aims to ensure a fair trial by selecting an impartial jury from a larger population. Kohberger's defense team have been actively challenging key pieces of evidence. They have filed motions to suppress certain search warrants and DNA evidence, arguing that they were improperly obtained by law enforcement, and these motions are currently under judicial consideration. The families of the victims continue to express their grief and frustrations over the prolonged legal process. Karen Laramie, mother of Madison Mogan, one of the victims, has spoken publicly about the emotional toll and her perception that the legal system often overlooks the victims' perspectives. It has been revealed that Brian Kohberger was previously investigated in connection with a 2021 home invasion in Pullman, Washington, involving a masked intruder with a knife. However, he was ruled out as a suspect due to discrepancies in the suspect's description and his confirmed absence from the area at that time. As the trial date approaches, both the defense and prosecution are preparing their cases, and further developments are anticipated. Interesting. Joel taking a crapper? Wait, what happened? Did it go down for a second? They demolished that house I drove through Moscow and it's gone. Really? Doesn't that seem kind of odd? Stardew Valley Supreme, signed formerly Sims Animal Crossing gal. Hell yeah, dude, that's a good one too. See, I feel like guys will play games that make us like scream bloody murder and call our teammates dummies, but girls have the right idea and play stuff that's actually fun. Of course, I have met some girls who are like actually insane at shooters, which is pretty impressive. I was instructing violent bloody murder. Oh wait, was this it? Was the one we just said? Question. Oh yeah. Dredge is kind of both. I really didn't enjoy Dredge, to be honest with you. I played that a decent amount, at least for a while, and it was just frustrating because like as soon as you left dock, the time went by so fast that you really had no opportunities. You had to like plan out your trajectory, because if you got caught out in the dark, you know, it just seemed like time went by so fast that you would eventually be caught in like the Cthulhu monstrosities that were out there in the dark, and I don't know, it just didn't really feel like as relaxing as I was hoping it to be. They found his DNA on a knife sheath that was under one of the girls' bodies. Really? He left that there? Or was she defending herself with it? Or what was it? I play both Animal Crossing and Fortnite, so equally chill and rage. Nice, yeah. Yeah, I never got into Fortnite, sadly. Yeah, like games like Dead Space and Bioshock, those are good. Yeah, single-player games are where it's at. I'm new to the channel. Do you have any stories about serial killer Randy Kraft? He killed my uncle and many others back in the 80s. I hardly hear anything about him. Did you submit a story? Because someone here named Mama Fear on Reddit, I just see the title and it's like, how many murderers do you think you walk by in your life? 3 suspects facing over 20 charges, each for murder, dismemberment, and Spotsylvania? Where the hell's Spotsylvania? I guess we'll get to it, but yeah, I'm very sorry to hear about that, but have you played The Last of Us? You're excited for the second season of the show? You know, I didn't really watch the show. And then the game itself, I played on the PS4, I think. I really did not make it super far, because I played a lot of like the Drake Uncharted games or whatever, and their sort of style of gameplay where it's like do stealth, and if the stealth doesn't work, go into like action phase. That's kind of the almost like it was like the identical like gameplay loop of Last of Us, and though it's good, you know, by all means, I just found myself getting like oddly bored, I guess. Yeah, if you have a story, please do send it to email letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com or send it to Reddit, reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. Okay, we got that one. Now we're here. Okay. I was about 13 when this happened, and I lived right on the beach. If you walked about 1.5 kilometers down the beach from my house, you would get to a place where some ocean would be left behind to form a sort of lake, where me and a lot of my friends liked to hang out, and next to it were 2 dirt roads. Now anyways, I had a German Shepherd, and my mother used to kick me out of my house every weekend for a few hours to go play with the dog, which I did not mind. There was a cliff above the beach, which you could take a walk to the lake, which was overlooking the beach, but covered in forest, and on that day it was particularly hot. So I chose to spare me and my dog a hot walk and walked up into the forest. Now I've done this many times before and wasn't afraid at all. As I was walking, I hear muffled footsteps behind me. My dog was up far ahead of me off of his leash, and his leash. Alright, we're gonna put this through chat. BBC grammar fix. What's up, Nate? Welcome, welcome. Fix this grammar and syntax, and don't change the story, please. Alright. Oh yeah, you got leeches. Watch the show Severance. Isn't that like an alien show or no? I'm a college student studying social work. My future is going to be interesting. Why is that? What happened? Oh, dealing with kids, or... As I was walking, I heard muffled footsteps behind me. My dog was far ahead of me, off leash, and I quickly realized that something had to be sneaking up behind me because it was nearly impossible to walk silently on the dry foliage here. I quickly made a run for it toward the exit of the forest, seemingly hearing the footsteps become more audible behind me. No worries though. I was out at the lake now, and it was plain, open, and I could already spot a girlfriend of mine there. My dog was already in the water as I went to greet my friend when we noticed a large man approaching us. He must have been close to 2 meters tall and very slim. He started talking to us both very kindly, and without knowing any better, we were polite back to him. At the time, I didn't associate the footsteps with this man, but later grew to understand. He asked us a lot of questions, where we were from, if anyone was there with us, and so on. Slowly, my friend and I started to get creeped out. We said our goodbyes, claiming we had to meet other friends and move further down the lake. We sat down for a bit and started talking when my dog began growling. She never growled, so this took me by surprise. I looked to see what she was growling at, and lo and behold, the man was standing about 50 meters behind us. My friend and I caught on quickly and moved again. The same thing happened, but this time he was closer, and by now we were pretty freaked out. We were clearly being followed, and we were not alone. Oops, we were alone. How often do you guys wipe your interior doors down? I literally never do unless there's visible dirt or splash or something. Some people do it weekly. Yeah, some people are like very, very anal about, keeping their cars completely clean, interior-wise, exterior. They like to wax it. It's almost, I think it's something they do with their dad, like dads who are into cars and stuff like that, brothers, whatever. They give it a waxing, and then it's kind of like pounded into their head that their car needs a shower and needs to be taken care of, similar to the way you would wash an animal or your own body, and when other people kind of just treat their passenger seat as like a second trash can. You know what I mean? You do yours weekly. Yeah, I mean, that's totally fine. It's just everybody's got a different approach. Have you watched the Substance movie now? Boom. There you go, guys. Hopefully you get one. Let's read thanks for the 10 gifters, too. Malice, Priscilla, Christine Z, Ren, Frankie the Chihuahua, Lotus, Dancer, Jill, Dumpling Yoshika, Miss Rage, Nisi, Dr. Ninja Dog. Welcome, friends. You now have access to bonus content. You drive through a puddle real fast. Yeah, that's how you do it. It's the easiest way. But yeah, there's a bonus content playlist. You guys can definitely check that out when you get some chance and binge watch all the shit. By now, we were freaked out. We were being followed, and we were all alone. My friend called her mother to come pick us up, but she was at least an hour away. That meant that we were stuck with this creep for an hour. And the more we moved, the closer he came. I had leashed my dog by then, as she was going completely rabid towards this guy, and every time we looked at him, he seemed to smile back, as if though we were close friends. He tailed us for a while until we saw my friend's mother's car arrive on the dirt road, and the road was about 200 meters from us, and to get there, we had to cross where the man was standing. We were terrified. Her mother saw the situation and started running over, which caught the man's attention, giving us a chance to dash. I don't think I've ever run that far and that fast in my life. My dog was running with us as I let her leash go. My dog was now running with us as I let her leash go, and when we got to the car, we hastily jumped in just as the man started to run towards us. We stayed in the car while my friend's mother called 112 and waited inside. That's 911 around here. The man threw rocks at the car and wailed at us before eventually running off as the police did arrive. And when the police got there, they questioned everyone and searched for this guy, but were never able to find him. I'm still terrified of the forest around that area, terrified that he might be waiting for us. I didn't know my friend would be there that day, and I don't know what would have happened if she hadn't been there. I didn't have a phone or any form of contact, and I'm pretty sure if he had gotten to me, he would have overpowered me and my dog. Alright. Interesting. Yeah. Sadly, the gifting of memberships is kind of like random. It'd be nice to... Oh, hey, Snow. It'd be nice to be able to do it, like, targeted to people, but... I know you can, on Twitch, you can target gifts. Let's see. I don't know if you guys click on, like, the names, like the 3 dots on the side of a name, username. But, yeah, I don't think there's an option to gift directly. When I was around 13 or 14, I went to Applebee's... Wait. I went to Applebee Festival. Oh, I see. Applebee. Do I have Twitch? I do. It's pinned at the top there. I'm currently simulcasting on both. And we've got 6 viewers over here. It's Ethan Butter on YouTube. Hey Jonah from YouTube, because they didn't have to pay the newer papered letter tax. Alicia's here as well. Me with reading is hard because focusing... Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, dudes. At least we got 7 over there now. It's popping off, baby. We're going nuts. We're going balls to the wall nuts. When I was around 13 or 14, I went to Applebee Festival in England with my family. My family comes from the Gypsies, but all now live in houses, and they no longer participate in gypsy culture, and I was not brought up as a gypsy, but they decided that we'd all go to this festival. Now, as young teens, my cousin and I, who were the same age, decided to wander off and do our own thing. We met a group of guys the same age as us and decided to hang around with them. We reached the outskirts of the festival when suddenly one of the guys picks me up and tries to drag me into the bushes. I have always been pretty strong for a petite female who's only about 5'0" and fought for my life. I elbowed this guy directly in the face and kicked him multiple times. Multiple times. Happy New Year. I elbowed him in the face and kicked him multiple times as hard as I could. Everyone, including my cousin, was in shock and was just staring at this going on and didn't do anything, and I finally managed to get away and ran as fast as I could. I have no idea what would have happened if I couldn't fight that way, and I don't know if I was going to... And I don't know if he was going to essay me or grab me, which is well known in that culture. Oh. And I didn't know if he was going to essay me or grab me, which is well known in the... I feel like this is out of order. Done stories on the Men in Black? I have, yeah, but it's been a while. Like many, many years. I don't know if he was going to essay me or grab me and turn me into his wife, which I guess is pretty well known within gypsy culture. And 10 years later, this still scares me, and I have never been to a festival like that again. Oops. And 10 years later, this still scares me, and I've never been to a festival like that again. I should probably upvote these so I know I read them. Updude. Get upduded, dog. There's this one guy on TikTok. He's like a younger dude. He's always doing it with his shirt off, his Instagram posts or whatever. But he's always kind of like making fun of like Reddit culture. Something about it, I don't know, something about it that's like so funny because it's so accurate. You know, it's, you'll ask like the most innocuous question, it's always like some condescending asshole on Reddit. It's like, well, maybe you should have thought about how we would feel before asking a question like that. If you even did an ounce of cursory research on your own, you would come to find that, you know, it's always like some bullshit like that on fucking Reddit where everybody on there is just so far up their own fucking asshole. Actually, yeah, literally the actually. I do really enjoy that whenever like a sort of subculture on the internet finally gets called out for something and like gets turned into a meme, because that's like literally the only way to like shut down a group that's just annoying as fuck, is to just like have an all-encompassing like sort of nameless and faceless sort of like meme that can be like referenced at any time. And that's why I fucking love that like nerdy glasses with like the finger up. It's so powerful. Anytime anybody says anything, you just you just post that and it's like it sends them into an absolute tism. Yeah, the nice try Diddy thing is so good. On every like advertisement that's just like so stupid, seeing like hundreds and hundreds of people say nice try Diddy, I'm just like, thank God. Fuck this stupid ad. Which is really funny to think like Diddy is just trying to trick people into like buying whatever stupid thing they're trying to sell. Taking dating advice from Reddit, yay or nay? I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, when it comes to getting information from any source whatsoever, whether it's Reddit or I don't know, so, you know, the opposing force of somebody on 4chan, it's just you have to have like discernment, you know. What piece of truth can I pull from these people? What piece of truth can I pull from these people? It doesn't mean that you fully agree with everything on every side, you know. You don't have to get pulled into that bullshit. But what kind of games do I play? Honestly, just lately I've just been playing, well, yesterday I played Helldivers with some friends, and then we played Marvel. And I don't dislike Helldivers. It's actually a ton of fun and pretty chill to just go in and do it. But lately it's been getting kind of a little bit repetitive, kind of, even though it is cool as shit. I do kind of in many ways wish that there was some type of PvP in that, because God, it would be so sick to like have a bunch of other Helldivers trying to rush your base and you just got like Gatling guns like set up just ripping you to shit, or ripping them. It's all bullshit. It's bad for you, George Carlin. Exactly. I grew up on 4chan, and yet Reddit still scares me sometimes. People can be so wild. Yeah, I guess it depends on what subreddits you go to, but most of them on Reddit are just like, actually, that's fucking nuts. I'm the most correct ever. And I'm also the most morally correct. And whenever I'm the most morally correct about somebody, that gives me the right to actually hurt the person that I disagree with, because I am morally superior. That is my logic. I am from Reddit. Do you ever notice that? Like, there are certain subreddits where they just, if they dislike someone, they are cool with like violence occurring to that person, but then they also like say that they're like morally superior for some reason. It's just like such a fucking roundabout way of thinking. You just demonize and dehumanize the argument that you dislike or the person you dislike so you can just be rid of them. Hey, Teacup. You had to delete your Reddit. That's good. Yeah, fuck that place. It's stupid. And you know Reddit is dying. Like, there's no way that place is somehow successful, because you go on there, there's no ads, so they're not making any money, right? Not making money like YouTube or maybe Facebook or Instagram or whatever. It's just a bunch of fucking no-life losers. Am I the asshole? Okay, so I'm not sure if this belongs here or somewhere else, but I want people to learn from my mistakes. For context, when this happened, I was 17, I'm now 18, and this was right before I turned 18. I was on a lot of apps to help me make friends as I'm autistic and struggle making friends IRL. I'm femme but trans, F to M, still am and also asexual, so because of the nature of these apps I stated that I was asexual in my bio. I also stated other things like my interests. And then I met this one guy who lived maybe an hour away and I was looking for a friend to smoke with and he said he would. I know, I was very naive and nonetheless, we planned a time and I waited outside for him. He brought me a breeze and... what is that? He brought me a breeze. Is that a drink? Yes. The Am I the Asshole Reddits are hilarious. Hey, Tumika Charlie, Happy New Year to you. And remember, how about no in the early 2000s? Yeah, there's nothing that I hate fucking more than people who have like normal dialogue with each other. Like they think that the live studio audience from The Big Bang Theory is going to like laugh at their fucking dickheaded comment. You know what I mean? Like we're like, how about you don't do that and say we did? You know, it's just, I don't know. They just like, they like get a kick out of feeling like slightly superior than you by like debasing your intelligence in some way. But they're also like the world's biggest fucking retard ever. So, but you don't have like the heart to like start the argument with them because you're a better person than they are. And yet they feel, I don't know, they feel so fucking cool saying their little snarky snark. That's also a form of derealization. Wait, what is? Just curious. I like that word, but what's it about? Am I tired? I'm not, honestly. I've been waking up later and later, and it's really bad. And then I like go to the gym later and later and have like caffeine before the gym. And it's just, you always think of the comic guy on Simpsons on Reddit. Yeah, that's, if you're ever wondering who you're arguing with on Reddit, that is, and Twitter too, that's the fucking guy right there. Actually, that's not the case. With all respect, I love your voice so much. Thank you, Naughty. Appreciate you. Depersonalization, derealization is so fucking scary. Wait, what is that? Oh, yeah, depersonalization. Yeah. Which is, it's kind of like where a lot of like political discourse has like sort of evolved on both sides. I see it a lot within left-leaning politics where like people will, like they just demonize one side or call someone something like a Nazi or whatever it is, and then immediately equate the fact that someone is that thing to one being deplatformed, to then being like available for or ready to receive a punch or ready to have violence be brought against them. I'm like, you don't sound like the happy-go-lucky accepting types, that you present yourself to be. It almost sounds like you have a deep-seated desire for violence that you just wish to normalize another side to be that thing that you sort of personify so that you can hurt them. It's very odd. So you aren't the guy who narrated I Heard It Too? I am, yeah. With, what's his name? Axeman Cartoonsington. People have dehumanized their opposite. Yeah, it's such a worthless tactic. And I mean, what is the logical fallacy there with dehumanization? Is it just, at least in the sense of calling someone a Nazi, it would be like a ad Hitlerum or whatever? Isn't that what that is within the logical fallacies, where you just sort of immediately compare them to like the worst possible thing, like Hitler or Satan, or in this situation, like Hitler kind of represents Satan, but in the past, whenever you had like witch hunts and stuff like that, it would be Satan. So you always just like debase everyone to the worst possible scenario they could be, presenting them as like a potential threat to the tribe, and therefore they must be ostracized, and if they refuse to be ostracized, you will hurt them. So it's all just very like base level tribalism tactics, which I find like so embarrassing because it's so repetitive, and like people pretend like they don't notice the pattern within themselves. But if that's your ongoing tactic to depersonalize another person rather than engaging them in the argument, because most of the time you're part of the general population. To engage someone in an argument or a discussion is probably not going to lead anywhere anyways, so why would you want to like immediately take it to the worst possible level of violence where it's just going to cause issues for both parties anyway? So it's just, all of it's such a big fucking waste of time, and the faster we realize that, I think the more constructive we can be with one another. Ostrich, yeah, turn them into ostriches, and then collect their eggs. A witch's pursuit, yeah. It's so funny that like there's witches IRL now. Dude, I want to be a fucking wizard. I want to wear a goddamn cloak around everywhere with a big old stick and a pointy hat. Big old beard. Okay, does anyone know what this breeze is? He brought me a breeze, and he took turns hitting his cart. Oh, is it like a smoking thing? Wearing anti-goetic seals. Okay, I promise. Oh, like a wine cooler. He brings you out a wine cooler. I guess those are good, honestly. But it's just like such a funny thing to like sort of, here you go. He brought me a wine cooler and we took turns hitting his cart. We had deep, meaningful conversations and immediately clicked, which I thought was amazing. At least until a bit later when I was very high. I tend to be impulsive and I don't know my limits well, and it was getting very cold, so I told him that I should get back inside. He agreed and started walking me toward my window. I was stumbling and really unable to see straight, and once we were in my driveway, he asked for a huge... Can I get a huge? I was stumbling, unable to see straight, and once we were in my driveway, he asked for a hug before leaving. Now, thinking it was kind of cute, I gave him that hug. But the next thing I knew, he was behind me, with a knife to my neck. At first, I tried to fight back, but I quickly realized it was getting me nowhere and only causing me more harm. In that terrifying moment, I thought that I was going to become just another true crime murder victim, and so I stopped fighting and started listening to him, hoping that he'd spare my life. At the time, I tried to leave as much evidence as possible in case listening... Justin, are you a witch? Just like Harry Pooper. Have a good night, Joel. I'm heading to bed. I'll see you in the next one, bro. Thanks for all that you do. You're welcome, Nate. Good to see you. At the same time, I tried to leave as much evidence as possible in case listening didn't save me. But then, I noticed scars on his thighs. Somehow I managed to appeal to some part of his humanity, and my exact words were, "I see your scars. You're just like me. You're hurting. But this isn't going to stop the hurt. It'll only soothe it temporarily." I don't know how I was able to think so logically in such a panicked state, but it ended up saving my life. He let me go, but only after I agreed to meet him again. I agreed just to get out of the situation and then went inside and tended to my cut thumb. And after that I blocked him on everything but kept his messages on my phone in case I ever found the courage to go to the police. Of course, I never met up with him again and never will, and what scares me the most is how much we had in common, our mentality and personality. I know predators like him often say things they don't mean, but our deep conversations had felt so real. I feel like it's almost like a detriment to others when you don't call the police. I feel like if you had a knife to your neck, that's probably a decent time to call authorities. What's up, Simpson? How you doing? What's really good? Okay, we're moving, we're grooving. Vitality, what's up? I feel like I've arrived at this point in my life where things are almost like too routine now, you know? To where I can almost... I don't know, for some reason I used to like routines were a good thing. But there was always something on the horizon that was either looming or was not necessarily like the next goal, but it was like that was, you know, at June or whenever, May or whatever it was, or whatever month, like things will change. And it's very odd to have been in the same routine for so long now that kind of just like maybe things will never change. If you're a witch, you don't need the cops. That's true. I don't know why she didn't use her wand. Alright. August in 2020, I had moved in with my aunt and uncle to an insanely small rural town in California. When I first moved there, a friend of mine had made it a point to show me that someone could drive across the whole town within 5 minutes, and at the time I didn't realize how important that fact would become to the safety of me and my loved ones. My best friend Haley and I, her 17 and me being 18 years old at the time, were hanging out at a park that was about a 5 to 10 minute walk from where I lived. And I say park because there were a few tables and benches, and it was technically known as a town park, but in reality it was more a small grass clearing surrounded by woods and a dirt trail near the bank of a river. I had started to frequent this place after walking down. Wait, what? Oh, after moving. Walking, did I see? Actually... I've arrived for the ship to Dreamland. Greetings, fellow sailors. Greetings. Ahoy, Captain. What superpower would I have? Oh, man, what superpower? Let's see. I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't want to fly. Maybe, like, rewinding time. Because then you could just, like, test something out and then just go backwards in time or something and reset whatever. But I guess maybe it would have like a cap on it or something. Invisible would be interesting too. Oh yeah, teleportation. Oh, teleportation is a great one. You could be anywhere in the world, anywhere you want. You would want to fly, but like what if it gets really cold in the air, you know what I mean? I worry that you get up in the air and your just like nose freezes off. Oh yeah, freezing time would be cool too. Yellowstone. I've seen clips of Yellowstone, but not anything really too much of it. I should watch more shows, but I don't, so maybe I never will. Birds develop beaks. Oh, true, yeah. Maybe you could wish to become just a big old bird, the world's biggest bird. If I was like a bad genie, that's what I would do. You would wish to fly, and I would turn you into a disgusting giant bird. I had started to frequent this place after moving, walking down to the benches and trail to smoke or sit by the water. I had never really noticed any suspicious characters before this, even though I had plenty warned about a couple creepers that were in the area known for bothering young girls. Haley and I had been smoking for a bit unbothered in the clearing when we decided to finish our little trip with exploring the trail a little bit and just taking in all the scenery. We had been walking and talking for about 5 minutes when I started to get this tension in my shoulders, like that feeling you get when you know someone is looking at you. I looked behind us and there was a man on the trail with us. Granted, this path is pressed right against the side wall of a gated community, so seeing people going on walks and jogging was fairly common. I told my friend of the man's presence, but she had just written it off as me being anxious. But she had a good point that I tend to be a bit hyper-aware at times, but something about the man felt wrong in my gut. We kept walking, and I would periodically look back and keep tabs on the dark-haired, middle-aged man walking about 50 feet behind us. After not too long at all, the man started picking up pace behind us. Calm, casual walking became more of a speed walk, and I turned around completely and started walking backwards to try and communicate to this man that I was completely aware of his presence. He had made it... fuck. Whatever, I'm just gonna put it through the fucking grammar machine. The shredder. Watch Yellowstone, only TV show I watched in years, best TV show ever. Oh, nice, okay. Would you be more like Superman-y, insect Mothman thing, or something with like feathers? Dude, a big moth would be sick. The last show I got into, I named my child after a character in there. A few seasons later, it broke my heart. Damn. What show was that? The Power of Free Groceries Forever and Ever. Hell yeah, dude. He had moved towards the side of the trail, looking like he was about to walk through the brush. Wait, did I copy-paste the right one? Sorry. Okay. He had moved toward the side of the trail, looking like he was about to walk through the brush down to the river. I felt a bit stupid for being so worried. Turning back around, I resumed walking forward, but glanced back one more time to be sure that he was gone. As I looked behind us for the last time, I saw the man in a full sprint, charging back onto the trail straight toward me and Haley. I grabbed her sleeve with one hand and pulled out of my pocket a knife with the other. I grabbed her sleeve with one hand and pulled out my pocket knife with the other. I can't remember what I said to her, but we started sprinting down the trail as fast as we could. I had never gone far down this path and had no idea where it led. The man chasing us was blocking our way back to the clearing in the road. His footsteps on the dirt grew louder, getting closer. I let go of Haley's sleeve to pull out my phone and called my uncle while still running. I told him we were being followed on the trail at the park, but I couldn't give him an exact location. I had never gone much further than the entrance and didn't know where the trail led to. My uncle told me to stay on the phone and make as much noise as possible so he could find us. I let out the loudest, shrillest scream I could muster as we kept running, and finally we reached the end of the path where an old metal fence surrounded some trees and what looked like an abandoned house or shed. Nearby, we saw the back corner of the outer wall for the gated community, and in that split second it seemed like our best option. I yanked us off the dirt path and into the trees lining the cement wall. I yelled at Haley to climb as fast as she could, boosting her from the bottom so she could use a tree in the ledge to get over the top. I threw my pocket knife and phone over the wall, and someone scrambled up and over myself as fast as I... Oh, somehow. Shite. Fucking shite. Miss any twerking? No twerking yet. I still got the cobwebs on it. What's up, Red? How you doing? That's funny. I don't know why. I've never seen anyone like with that 70s show character as a avatar, and it's kind of awesome. I threw my pocket knife and phone over the wall and somehow scrambled up and over myself as fast as I could. I landed face first onto a neatly trimmed patch of grass inside the gated community, startling a man who had been calmly walking his dog. I became acutely aware of how strange we must have looked, two panicked teenagers yelling and holding a knife, but the man seemed to realize that we were in trouble. He rushed over to ask if we needed help, and while Haley explained the situation, I got back to my phone with my uncle and told him that we had made it into the gated community. And not even a minute later, we heard my uncle shouting from the trail. He yelled threats at the man who had chased us, making it clear that he had a firearm and wasn't afraid to use it. The man with the dog led us to a small access gate along the wall and unlocked it so we could meet my uncle on the trail. My uncle told us that he had driven his car through the park and up to the trail entrance as fast as possible before running to find us. He hadn't seen anyone on his way in. After checking to make sure that we were okay, I retold what had happened in greater detail now that the panic was wearing off. My uncle escorted us back to his car, his firearm in plain sight, ready in case the man showed himself again. We didn't see him on the way back, and I haven't returned to that place since, but for a long time after, I was constantly paranoid that I was being followed whenever I left the house. We were never able to figure out who that man was, and I haven't seen him since that day. Oh man, I feel like these stories are, they're not bad at all. I just feel like there hasn't been much to talk about related to them at all. Almost getting robbed because of buying snacks. Okay. Snacks! There's a really funny YouTube video. I wonder if it's still up. But it's this Jack dude. I think it's called what you should be eating for snacks. Whereas, oh yeah. It's from Simeon Panda, and he's just jacked insane. But I don't know why, it's just such a fucking funny title to me. What you should be eating for snacks. He's just holding up his snacks, letting you know. These are the ones. Put down the fruit by the foot. Narrate. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Joel, can you narrate? My uncle told us that he had driven his car through the park and up the trail entrance as fast as possible before running to find us. He hadn't seen anyone in his way in. After checking to make sure that we were okay, I retold what had happened in greater detail now that the panic is wearing off. I wonder what he's up to. Arnold Schwartzers. Get to the chopper. This happened shortly after. Oh, okay. Here we. Oh wait, did I copied all of it, but I didn't run it through the grammar checkity check. Grammar checkpoint. He's doing voiceovers as himself. That's cool. He was in a really good Prison Break type of movie. Yeah, it's just interesting, seeing him now, because it really doesn't feel like it was that long ago that, let's see, Arnold's. It doesn't seem that it was that long ago that they had those, remember the movies where he was, the Expendables, where they had all of the different jacked dudes doing stuff together? I feel like he looked pretty good in that or whatever, and now it kind of seems like he's sort of like Ronnie Coleman, where he's just sitting in a chair, but maybe he had some sort of medical issue. I don't know. I know Ronnie had like surgery complications or like a broken disc that kind of fucked him. He's never been canceled. Who's that? Arnold? This happened shortly before weed was legalized in Germany. In Berlin, regulations were already fairly relaxed, and as long as you didn't explicitly bother anyone, you usually wouldn't get arrested for smoking in public. I've been smoking daily for years. I know it's not great, but that's besides the point, so I can function pretty well while stoned. However, I almost never smoked in public, partly to avoid trouble, but mostly because I prefer the comfort of my own home. One late night, around 3 a.m., I was chilling online with friends, ready to call it a day. I wanted to unwind with a joint and one of my favorite shows, but I had no snacks left. Determined to end the night properly, I decided to head to a nearby Spotty, a small convenience store similar to a 7-Eleven. And at that... Make sure I said Spotty, right? Spotty? Spotty. Smoking public. Späti. Oh, okay, my bad. I was smoking at Späti. Yeah, aged very quickly. It does seem like Sylvester Stallone is still kind of killing it, even at his age. Because I assume, well, let's see, Sylvester Stallone is 78. And he still seems to be up and moving, you know what I mean? Arnold Schwarzenegger, age 77, so he's a year younger. Interesting, they're so similar in age. Wow. Similar in age and born in the same month. Kind of crazy. Faces are getting puffy. Yeah, I think taking steroids too really like puffisizes your face quite a bit as well. But, you know, they are in their 70s, so who knows what the fuck's going on. Smoking a pancake. Oh wait, how do you say this place? Späti. Determined to end the night properly, I decided to head to a nearby Späti, a small convenience store similar to a 7-Eleven. At that hour, only the sketchiest ones were still open, often operating illegally. I grabbed my coat and keys but hesitated before leaving. Why not make this cold walk a little bit more enjoyable, I thought, rolling a small joint. I lit it as I stepped outside, braving the freezing freeze. I lit it as I stepped outside, braving the freezing breeze. The area I live in is pretty rough, mostly foreign residents, many from Arabic countries. Poor integration has led to high crime and violence, but I was in good spirits as I strolled through the flickering neon sign of the Späti. Just one more intersection to cross. A group of men stood at the corner. They looked Middle Eastern, a bit older than me, and watched as I walked by. It felt normal, nothing unusual. I crossed the street already a little high without giving them much thought. And then I heard a voice behind me. Routine ID check. Please show me your Oops. Then I heard a voice behind me. Routine ID check. Please show me your identification. My heart sank. Of course this had to happen the one time I smoke in public, I thought, turning to face the police. But they weren't police. It was the group from the intersection, now slowly approaching me. Routine ID check. Please show me your ID. We're undercover cops, one of them said with a very smug grin. I froze. It was clear they weren't cops. None of them showed identification, and their demeanor gave them away. You know smoking weed is illegal, don't you? The man continued, his pupils enormous, and it was obvious that they had no authority whatsoever. And they began circling me. Show us what's in your pockets, the leader demanded. So, it's a robbery, I thought. If I don't resist, maybe I'll only lose my phone and the few bills that I'd brought for snacks. Then, a wave of dread hit me. My weekly tips, about $300 in cash, were also in my pocket. I'd forgotten to deposit it earlier, and losing that money would wreck my budget for the month. What now? As I slowly reached into my pocket, the leader pressed me. What's taking so long? I pulled out an old pack of gum and some broken headphones, hoping to satisfy them. Where's your wallet? I need your ID, he insisted. Now still fumbling, too stubborn and stupid to hand over my tips, I inadvertently noticed something that shocked me. The glint of a Glock tucked in his belt. Knives and metal rods are typical weapons around here, but a gun? That was insane, even by local standards. German gun laws are incredibly strict, and my adrenaline spiked. Slowly, I pulled out the €5, Euro, right? Yeah. German Nerf gun, maybe, yeah. Slowly, I pulled out the €5 bill that I'd planned to use for snacks, trying to keep my expression neutral. You got no wallet? He growled, his face darkening. My brain screamed at me to do something, anything before this escalated further. Then, a desperate thought flashed through my mind. The Arabs in this area were known to fear Russians due to frequent clashes between the two groups, and maybe, just maybe, I could use this to my advantage. In a very heavy Russian accent, I stammered, My friends have my wallet. They're coming soon. We'll meet here. And to my surprise, their poor English comprehension worked in my favor. They exchanged glances, muttered in German, and decided to wait, and I forced myself to look confused, keeping up the bluff. It worked, though. Their effort to figure me out seemed too much trouble, and the leader finally pointed at the €5 bill. All right then, you get us something to drink. Reluctantly, I followed them into the Späti. They grabbed a 6-pack of Coke and I paid. My heart was pounding, and I was sure that this wasn't over. That they'd search me or retaliate when my non-existent friends didn't show up. But then, just like that, they left. No violence, no further questions, nothing. I stood there in shock, unable to process what had just happened. Now looking back, I can't believe I bluffed my way out of such a dangerous situation. It could have been my last day on Earth, all for €300. I've learned my lesson, and these days I avoid walking around late at night when the streets are empty. David De La Rosa, thank you for the 2. And Simpson, thank you for the 2 as well. Thank you guys, appreciate you. Tribble me timbers. What did I say? Did I say tribble? $5 for a case of Coke. Yeah, I don't know what the conversion rate is. Conversion rate in dollars to euros. Oh, it's like 1-to-1. Interesting. It's kind of fascinating. So yeah, it's actually, I guess, like a good deal. Or maybe, is it? Yeah, I guess maybe. Alright, almost got robbed. Snacks. Yeah. We're good. Oh, man. Anyways, what else is new? Anything good happened on Earth lately? Not all the bad stuff. What am I doing? Why? What do you mean? Did my stream stop or something? Also, it is kind of fascinating that, like, I put my stream to, like, the 2500, I put my stream to the 2500 bit rate before, thinking that it was, like, less challenging on your guys' system, but actually moving it up to 4500 made it a lot more effective. And I don't know, it's just fascinating is that sometimes, like, if you say you think you can, like, run a video game or something at, like, a low settings will make it always better, sometimes you kind of, like, bottleneck the effectiveness of your GPU or whatever. And it seems like in a similar way, like, uploading a compressed version of your stream to YouTube actually, or whatever, you know, Twitch, actually ends up causing more issues rather than just, like, doing a normal bit rate of like 4500 or 5000. How trusting are you with peptides? Heard a lot of good things about them and the health benefits. Yeah, the only peptides I've tried that really helped was the BPC 157. Obviously it was from a doctor that you can talk to, and they usually get it from like a appropriate like compounding pharmacy. So you know, and you're gonna want like a pharmacy like that to mix it, presumably. But yeah, you know, I did the injectables in the belly fat, kind of like insulin needles and stuff, and they show you how to do that, and they give you all the appropriate stuff. But dude, that fucking really helped my shoulder, because I had some shoulder issues from bench press and stuff, and yeah, I'm just like fucking good to go with it now. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, my review is I bet like I'm probably in a few days here I'm gonna call them just to do it again, honestly, because I did because I think they give, at least where I did it, was like 5-week cycles, and you do it Monday through Friday, take off the weekends, and I think just do it in the morning. I would highly suggest doing it in the morning, the injections, because if you have the BPCs too close to bed, you have like fucking terrible nightmares. Like wake up sweating, like scared nightmares. You have a torn ACL, left shoulder is fucked from now on. Yeah, I mean, it's, from what I've heard, it's a lot better at like microvasculature production as far as like creating healing on the micro side. So if it's a legitimate torn ACL, you probably would end up having to have surgery or talking to your doctor about having surgical intervention. But then yes, as far as like recovery maybe from said surgery, I mean, you could try the BPC and I'm not, you know, telling you what to do or giving medical advice or anything, I'm just thinking out loud. But like, I'm imagining like you could try the BPC initially and see how things are feeling both in the knee and the shoulder over time, over the course of that 5 weeks. You might notice benefits as soon as like 2 weeks from what I've heard. But, you know, it might require a few cycles as well. But I definitely think, like, if you do end up having to do surgery, you could use that to help your recovery as well. But yeah, the BPC is just a synthesized version of the body protective compound 157, which is found within your gut anyways, which is what your body releases to essentially rebuild the stomach lining whenever like stomach acid burns through that like mucal layer down into your you know, your bowel. You need to lose 15 to 20 pounds again from the holiday. Yeah, it's tough. Just gotta lock in on the diet, you'll be good. Go and do some stair climbers or go on a hike or some shit. Great to hear from somebody who's tried it. Definitely looking forward to try it. Planning on losing more weight before getting into peptides. Yeah, that's fine too. I mean, I would just, you know, slight incline on the, you could do like the 3 incline or whatever it is on the walking treadmill, or go on walks. Maybe you could even wear like a weighted vest eventually if you want. And yeah, it's just about controlling that diet and just being disciplined for at least like 3 to 5 months within your calorie, limitations. And yeah, increases uptake of growth hormone. Oh yeah, I tried the ipamorelin one. I think it had something else in there as well. And I don't know if it, like, with growth hormone, I've heard that it can increase the permeability between your bloodstream and your lungs, so like fluid can transfer between the two areas a lot easier if there's an increase of human growth hormone. But I took that, and after like one dosage of taking that, I was also, I think, consuming like those LMNT, like 2,000 milligrams of sodium drinks, because I was working out and I just liked them. And I legitimately woke up the next day with my like lungs filled with fluid. So I thought that was just a fluke, but it kept getting worse. And, then it resulted in me getting like sort of a pneumonia for like 5 weeks or something. It really sucked. So I stopped doing that peptide. And I don't know if it was correlated to me consuming too much fluids at that time, as well as sodium, as far as like, sodium holds on the water. And if it's increasing permeability, it can increase like that fluid retention and that kind of thing. So I don't know. It was a weird experience. Family history of COPD. No, it was just, I genuinely could only like boil it down to taking that peptide and whatever, the deal was with those LMNT drinks. They were like pre-canned, sodium drinks with 2,000 milligrams of sodium, which would be great if you're on like a fucking long ass jog, but I was just drinking them for fun, which was probably not smart, and I feel like they should advise against that. You like to roll down the mountain? That's good. They call you Avalanche. Have you ever gone to the Arnold Classic to see Ronnie and Arnold? I haven't. That would be sick though. I'd love to go to one of the strongman shows. I think those are cool. Ever since I got a foot drop, it just makes me not want to walk at all. I feel like I'm walking so awkward. Oh damn, foot drop. Was that post surgery you got foot drop? Like on the ankle or some shit? Or was it from the nerves? Marma Jams with the 5 Kenny. Happy 2025, handsome. Thank you, Marma. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. I tore my rotator cuffs, both sides. One hurt like all get out, the other, my arm would just not work, but I'm lucky it wasn't all the way through. Yeah, did you have to have surgery, or how did you recover from that? Twerk for you. You gotta pay to get a man to twerk around here. Alright, where are we at? Man on the trail. Almost got robbed buying snacks. Roommates. Oh yes, that's right. That story was from Germany. This one's from France. Here's a revised and polished version. Wait. Your story is captivating, eerie vibe. It feels like it's first. Okay, we'll just stick to the original. They cut my nerves in surgery. Man, that sucks, dude. I wonder if there's something that could help to heal that, I wonder if the BPC would be beneficial in that as well. My name is Jules, and this story took place in 2022. At the time, I was a business school student, but my English skills needed improvement, and to address this, I decided to take a gap year and move to Toronto, Canada for intensive language courses. Since the costs were high, I found a shared apartment with other students. The apartment had 3 bedrooms, one of which was still vacant, waiting for a new tenant. My roommate, Sandro, was Swiss-German, tall, almost 2 meters and weighing 120 kilos, but incredibly friendly, and we quickly became friends. A few weeks later, Sandro mentioned that he was going on a week-long road trip through Canada's national parks. We planned to leave early on a Saturday morning, while I had been informed that the new student would arrive that same day at around 3 p.m. Sandro left the apartment at 10 a.m., leaving me alone to await the newcomer. Hours passed. 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 8 p.m., 10 p.m. Still, no one. I grabbed something to eat, watched a show on Netflix, and eventually decided to just call it a night. Around midnight, I was... Hey, Charlie, what's up, dude? Lion's mane helps with strengthening and possible regrowing nerves. Need to look into it more. Interesting. Around midnight, I was startled awake by knocks on my apartment door. I heard someone entering. That must be the new student, I thought groggily, as an unfamiliar voice explained the apartment's layout. Too tired to investigate, I stayed in bed and drifted back to sleep. A few minutes later, there were knocks on my bedroom door. Once, then again about 10 minutes later. Thinking there might be a problem, I reluctantly got up. Standing in the doorway was a young Japanese woman, around 25 years old. I quickly explained a few details about the apartment, and we exchanged Instagram handles and then retreated to our respective rooms for the night. Over the following days, she frequently asked me to accompany her on a bus or subway rides, and I happily helped, showing her stops and landmarks before returning to my usual routine of classes and gym sessions. And goon sessions. What kind of stretches do you do? Oh, you're asking them. I was going to say I don't really stretch too much. I feel like I probably should. But I have some pretty good, we did some good routine leg warm-ups today, which were pretty solid. My one buddy has like this, we took like smaller bands, put it around your feet, and you kind of try to like lift your knee up as well as you can. And it sort of like activates your hip flexors, which is something you don't really think about too often. I'm like, God damn, my hip flexors are like weak as shit. Over the following days, she frequently asked me to accompany her on bus or subway rides. I happily helped, showing her stops and landmarks before returning to my usual routine of classes and gym sessions. But gradually, her behavior became unsettling. Every evening when I came home, she would either message me or find reasons to talk to me in the apartment, and the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. One evening, while lying on my bed, I noticed her standing on the shared balcony outside my window. She was leaning against the railing, staring at me with a very piercing gaze. When she realized that I had noticed, she quickly turned away and went back into her room. Uneasy, I tried to brush it off as a coincidence. Later that night, just as I was falling asleep, I glanced out the window again. She was still there, watching me, and our eyes met briefly before she vanished. This pattern continued for several nights. Each evening I would catch her on the balcony, staring intently at me, and each time she disappeared as soon as she realized that I'd seen her. Then, the night before my departure, things escalated. I had to wake up early for an appointment and left my room at 5:30 a.m. The apartment was silent and dark except for the faint glow from under the bathroom door. As I brushed my teeth, I heard soft footsteps behind me. She emerged from her room, moving silently across the wooden floor. Instead of turning back, she opened the bathroom door and stepped inside, sitting on the closed toilet. She stared at me, motionless and her expression blank. The moment stretched into an impressive silence, and finally I mustered the courage to leave the bathroom, closing the door behind me. I returned to my room slowly, unsettled and unsure of her intentions. And that night, as I was having dinner in my room, I saw her through the window again, staring inside. I looked away, hoping that she would leave. And later, at 3 a.m., I woke abruptly from a nightmare, and turning my head, I saw her still on the balcony, her wide eyes fixed on me. And this time she didn't vanish. She remained motionless like a statue, before suddenly turning and running inside. My heart raced as I rushed to lock my door, and moments later I heard her trying the handle, gently at first, and then more forcefully. Holding my breath, I stayed silent until everything went still, and by morning I was ready to leave for France. She was gone, and I never saw her again. To this day, I'm not sure what her intentions were. Perhaps she was just fascinated by me. My build is far from typical for a Japanese person, I suppose. I can bench press over 150 kilos, by the way. Or maybe she was just looking for an adventure, or even my passport. Take care, everyone. The story is entirely true, and I still have the apartment's address. Oh. Perhaps she was just fascinated by me. My build is far from typical for a Japanese person. Oh, man. Building Paul Walker's GTR right now. Nice, dude. That's sick. Be careful out there. All right. I don't know why the title's so funny. A roommate situation that turned into a nightmare. Parentheses, I'm French. Just so you know, this is going to have a lot of French stuff in it. Alright, well, we're moving and grooving, I guess. Interesting. It is incredibly brutal, and thank you, because most people say rub some icy hot and shut up about it when you're walking around feeling like something hot, broken glass in every joint. Yeah, that's tough. Any walking Home Alone stories you did? Yeah, I mean, there's... Oh, tonight? Yeah, I think there was actually some specific about just walking home alone. But yeah, I've had some volumes of just all those types of stories. What should you eat tonight working and getting hungry? Probably just meat and vegetables, and maybe some berries, and maybe some nuts. Just like the grizzly bears intended. The great god grizzly bear. More bananas. There you go. And don't shove them anywhere they don't belong. French whisper through the whole story, then scream at the end. Okay. I am not proud of any of this. I have a big family and we were super close. When I was in high school, my aunt was dating this guy who seemed really wealthy, but no one really knew what he did. I think anyone could have guessed though. I asked my aunt to introduce me to her boyfriend, and we talked about how I could work from home. Without going into too much detail, he agreed to let me work for him. I sold to some people I knew. I went to high school in an area where drugs were pretty common. I knew a few boys who claimed that they were already using this stuff, so I offered to sell it to them. Lost in the Mood, welcome back for 26 months. Says Happy New Year's all. Happy New Year's, Mood. Good to see you. What's poppin'? Jade, what's up? Did you get kidnapped yet? Last we heard from you, you were sending yourself off to be human trafficked. You didn't get vaccinated for COVID and someone told you you belonged in a death camp. That's where they came to my door to put me in one. I said I didn't want to go. And they said, how come? That's where we put people that belong in them. And I said, that sounds really uncomfortable. And they said, okay. Have a good night. Oh, you went to church. Okay, that's good. That's better than trafficking. Do you like to read singular books too, or does Reddit stories satisfy that need? Definitely doesn't satisfy any need. I don't really read though, I'll be honest with you. Just not my vibe. I'd like to do it more. You don't mingle with older men anymore? Oh, nice. So our advice during that last stream, you kind of just cut things off. Yeah, that should be my channel name. Let's read parentheses sometimes. Smiley face killers? I don't remember what that is. Oh, man. I'm not proud of any of this. I have a big family and we're super close, and when I was in high school, my aunt was dating this guy who seemed really wealthy, but no one really knew what he did. I think really anyone could have guessed, though. I asked my aunt to introduce me to her boyfriend, and we talked about how I could work for him. Without going into too much detail, he agreed to let me work for him, and I sold to some people I knew. I went to high school in an area where drugs were pretty common. I knew a few boys who claimed that they were already using this stuff, so I offered to sell it to them. And surprisingly, they placed really big orders. I didn't ask any questions, I just sort of went along with it. I was making about $3,000 a month from this. Not enough to retire or anything, but definitely more than most 17-year-olds made. I never made a point to flaunt my money or anything like that. I thought that I kept it well hidden. At least, I hoped I did. What bothers me is that there's no way of knowing, really. And one Saturday morning, I walked over to my friend's house for a birthday party. It wasn't a wild one or anything, just a cute little breakfast. On my way home, a guy I'd never seen before pulled over and got out of his car. He was well dressed and a bit older. When he got out, I thought he was a cop, and he was kind of acting like one, and I was ready to surrender because I didn't think that I could actually make an escape. But then he pulled out a switchblade and told me to give him my purse. He said something like, "Don't act dumb, girl. I know you have money. It's okay. We can make this easy if you just give me your purse." I can't really explain why, but that felt like such a cop-like thing to say. I don't know if you've been in a situation like that before. I hope you haven't, but you kind of just freeze when someone surprises you like that. It's not exactly fear. Your body just doesn't know how to react. I almost think my body didn't let me get too scared, because if it did, I might have had a heart attack, and it was like my body was saying, wait until it's safe, and then panic. First, I felt relieved that he wasn't actually a cop, and thank goodness for that. And second, when he said it was okay, that he could make it easy, it actually... shit. Marma James with the 5 says, I'm curious, did they hear long? Oh no, yeah. Kind of keep it low key, but thank you so much, Marma. Appreciate you. Haven't heard of the smiley face killer's theory. People go out drinking and end up dead in the river. Then there's a smiley face tagging nearby. It's happened a lot. Oh yeah. Aren't I a ginger? No, that the video or the picture that I posted on like what is it, YouTube, what the fuck's that place called, like famous birthdays or whatever, is just, it's another celebrity, but it is not I. But yeah, I remember hearing about like people going missing or bodies found in the river, like down in Texas. Is that happening in Texas, or what's the deal with that? Yes, my face is in all your nightmares. End up dead, floating face down, and somewhere around is a smiley face graffiti. Interesting. Austin, Texas. Yeah, something like that. Texas and Chicago. I wonder if it's like a gang, like a smiley face gang. The Joker. First, I felt relieved that he wasn't actually a cop, so thank goodness for that. Second, when he said it was okay, that we could make it easy, it actually did calm me down a bit. And so I managed to say, okay, can I just give you my cash? My purse has my phone and pictures and other stuff. And he said okay to that. I opened my purse and took out all the cash, which was about $200, and he watched me closely as I did it. He took the money and said something like, "If you tell anyone, I will find out." And then he left, and I felt surprisingly calm the rest of the walk home. The next morning it hit me that I had been mugged, and that's when the panic set in and I started shaking and crying. Even as I'm writing the story now, it gives me chills. I'd never seen that guy before, and when he said, "I know you have money," I don't know if he meant that he knew about my dealing or if he was just trying to scare me. Honestly, I'm really glad this happened because it made me get out of that business at that right time, and things were only going to get more dangerous from there. It's still scary thinking about it, but that guy saved me without even realizing it. I told my aunt's boyfriend what had happened and that I was too scared to keep doing this. He told me to send all my customers to him instead, and I did, and that was the end of it for me. It's been almost 10 years now, and I haven't looked back since. Oh, man. My favorite story, whichever one you send in, Jake. It's my favorite one of all time. I like how those clown copycat people went around and killed people. Who? Oh, wait, smiley face people, or what are you talking about? Alright. Well, we got one more story, but I am kind of curious about the word count of everything. Well, you know what? It doesn't even really matter that much. I guess if it's too bad, but... I mean, maybe we could read a few more, I guess. At least get to the solid. What did I get for Christmas? It's kind of funny, I think about it. Like, I didn't really get anything for Christmas. Like, nobody in my family got me anything, sadly. Oh no, what am I talking about? Yeah, my brother got me a jacket, which was nice. And my mom gave me candy, which was pretty funny. I don't know why. It's just candy. But yeah, other than that, I guess that was it, pretty much. I don't know. I don't really expect what kind of candy. I think it was just like a bunch of Reese's stuff, but I just gave it to my buddy's kids and said it was late from Halloween. Not that it would have mattered or anything, but I remember I told them at some point that my mother had Halloween candy for them that she wanted to give them, but then they never had a chance to kind of connect, so I just said that was the Halloween candy or whatever. I don't know. I just didn't want a big bag of candy. Did you buy the doggy for your friend? I did, yeah. It's funny, I didn't even remember I said that. But yeah, we put the down payment on a dog for them, and now they're just waiting until they're like the 8 weeks old or 6 weeks old or whatever it is. I forget how old dogs have to be before they can leave. Got your dog a sweater from Japan. Oh, that's cute. What kind of dog do you have? Mentioned another stream. Yeah, I'm excited to meet him. He's gonna be a what is it? A Saint Bernard. It's like so funny because it's like a new puppy, but it is fucking massive, dude. It's like so big. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna go along when they go get it, and it'll be super, super cute. They said they had another one, and they're like, you should get one too. And I'm like, I want to. I really do would love a dog, but I don't know. Cats are just like so much more low key, but if I ever do the family thing, I'll definitely do the dog thing too. Your Burmese, only 3 months, almost 40 pounds. Holy cow, that's crazy. He's gonna have a barrel of brandy around his neck. He should, that'd be sick. I got my friend a puppy for his birthday and they lost a dog last year. Oh, okay. So that one kind of... How late do you usually stream? Honestly, it depends. I mean, most streams sometimes go like 4 hours or 3 to 4 hours. You can see me with a like a bird on my shoulder, just like shitting and stuff. I mean, birds are all right. They kind of remind me a little bit of like really smart lizards. I'm just not really, I don't know. I like mammals probably much more. I saw a really cute dog at the mall yesterday, but it was so big I thought it was a small child in a fluffy coat from behind. That's funny. My local trainer wants to charge me $6,000 just to get her to stop barking, but I feel like it's redundant. She's a Pyrenees Husky and Rottweiler mix. She barks. I mean, I guess I don't know. I feel like that could be like traumatizing for the dog if whatever the fuck they're doing for $6K, and traumatizing for your fucking bank account. I'm sure you could watch shit on fucking YouTube and figure out how to convince your dog to shut up. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be way easier shit than $6,000 to figure that out. Labs are my number one for dogs. They're smart, sensitive, and protective. Yeah. Anytime I interact with like especially like the golden labs or like the white labs, those are, I don't know why, they're just like so smart and cute. I think that's probably what I would get, like a brown lab or black. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it even matters. I'm sure it just depends on their, because they're probably from the same litter. You've only ever had Chihuahuas. That's interesting. I mean, Chihuahuas can be nice little ones, but they are, honestly, small dogs like that are some of the most known to like actually bite people, just because, you know, they're so fucking protective of their owners and stuff, and they tend not to be like disciplined in that regard because they're so small, and you kind of like just think it's cute that whatever they do. But you should, yeah, I don't know, interacting with big dogs is kind of my favorite. Yeah, I know, you could train yourself to be a dog trainer for that much, for real. Yeah, boxers are so cute, man. My buddy has he had a boxer. I went with him to get it, and it lived to be about like 12 or so. But then their other friend has a boxer who reminds me just of him, and it's like the same. It's pretty much the same guy. It's so funny. Your Chihuahuas behave better than the bigger dogs. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I've always heard just like Chihuahuas can get out of hand sometimes. I figured that since I have binged and completed all your podcasts, then what better time to submit something myself in the meantime? I have 2 different stories, both true, and I can link news articles to confirm these events, but for now, I want to tell everyone the encounter my dad had a few years back. I want to clarify for this event that I was not there since I haven't lived in my hometown for over a decade now, but my dad, 67 around the time of this encounter in 2021, lives in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Not a huge city or town, but it does lie just south of Washington, D.C., so hearing this honestly shocked me tremendously. My dad is known in our neighborhood as a very kind man, while myself and my older sister no longer live in the state, and he still proceeded to take his dog Scooter for walks every morning. This consisted of walking down to my old bus stop, which means that all the kids and parents eventually grew to know my dad and Scooter pretty well. He told me that there, for a short period of time, he would see this blonde-haired teenager walking down the street with his backpack. I honestly can't recall if he said this kid was actually a student or not, so I can't confirm if this kid was a regular at this bus stop or not. But my dad had apparently seen him often enough that nothing spiked any red flags. It was the same encounter every time they crossed paths. They would exchange hellos, Scooter would get a few minutes of pets, and they would go their separate ways after a few minutes of small talk. Hearing this, I didn't really think anything about it. I mean, our neighborhood was relatively safe the entire time that I lived there, and nothing really big ever happened. But when he told me this next part, I was speechless. He told me that it took him a few weeks for him to realize he hadn't seen that teenager, and he soon found out why. During one of his regular walks with Scooter, the neighbor had stopped him to talk to him. My dad mentioned in passing that he hadn't seen that kid in a few weeks. My neighbor then informed him that's because the kid had been arrested with 2 other people. The reason? Murder and dismemberment of a 20-year-old who was discovered in the woods. By the time my dad had finished the story, I couldn't say anything. My small hometown, which had always felt and looked so safe to me during my childhood, was now something that danger had intruded upon. I've been meaning to go visit my dad, who still lives in the same house that I spent most of my Sutterbach crew. Seen a few Dalmatian. I've always heard they aren't good around kids, though, which may be my reason you don't see them too often. Perhaps, yeah, I mean, they are definitely kind of like those hunting working dogs. Pretty strong bite. But someone earlier said that brown labs have one of the strongest bites. That's pretty crazy. Dude, sometimes I just want to stay up. Wouldn't it be kind of nice if you didn't always go to bed at the same time, but you just consistently stayed up till like when you were tired and then you went to bed? That's kind of stupid. It won't never work, but I'm 55 years old, and only 3 weeks ago I had my first interaction with a large dog. It's my friend's 95-pound pit bull, and she loves me. Nice. That's definitely a different one to interact with for the first time. Were you afraid of them most of your life, or you just never really saw them? Yeah. I do enjoy pit bulls, and most pit bulls I've interacted with have been nice, but there's just something deep within me that's just terrified of them. I don't know what it is. Like, I just look at them and I just, they want to lick my face or get, like be petted and be happy, and it's like, that's great and all, but there's just something deep within them that I just wonder if they're just like gonna randomly latch onto my nose and rip it off. I would hope not. It's just something. I'm very biased, I guess. Going to work at 6. You better get some sleep, Jake, or you're going to be depressed. So you should watch the video Basic Needs Extreme Happiness. There's a guy in Antarctica who digs up some supplies he had stashed and gets super excited about a bag of Funyuns. Wait, a guy in Antarctica who digs up supplies he had stashed. Wait, what's he doing? I hear that, Joe. I'm scared of them too. Same pits are scary as fuck. Nah, pit bulls are rad. It's Dobermans and Rottweilers I'm scared of. Which is so funny because I had Dobermans, right? And I love Dobermans. Like, Dobermans to me are just all, like, any Doberman I've ever interacted with, they're always like the nicest little, like, perfect angels. I don't know. What's up, Danny? Dalmatians were common in the fire service because they have a natural calming effect on horses. Really? Wonder why that is. Dobies are such a good dog, not scary at all. I know, and they're super smart too. Apparently they were used in like military service, but they were almost like too intelligent that they would get attached to the specific owner too much that they switched to the German Shepherd because the German Shepherd was much more capable of like going between like multiple military owners, or like, you know, so they wouldn't get super attached and then lose their effectiveness. But I remember there was like some German saying where it was like, if you can pet my Doberman, you can have it, or something, because they were guard dogs and whatnot. Only unfortunate thing about Dobermans is they have a lot of health issues, both because of like breeding and the inbreeding aspect of like, you know, making money off of breeding, as well as like crossbreeds. I don't know, just stuff like that. I remember mine had like seizures and he only lived to be about 5 years old, but man, his name was Jackson. He was a baby. Wait, what about your mom's neck? I have a rot mix. He's so temperamental but of his own. Oh, okay, that's good. Wait, someone said about a dog on a neck somewhere. That's true. Never heard of a Doberman really mauling anybody to death, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean to anybody that has pits or anything like that. It's just those are the stories you always hear, you know. And obviously sometimes, you know, because we have such an issue with like dog fighting rings down south in like Georgia and stuff, you know, like the whole Michael Vick kind of like concept down there. They end up getting like shipped around, you know, after like recovery, but they still have that like deep within them, that like sort of deep-seated uncertainty, you know, that at any moment could like come out of nowhere. I'm not saying that's always the case, it's just in the back of my mind. And Justin, thank you so much for the 5 gifters to Everyone's Worst Nightmare, Glittery Goodness, Sick Reiki Master ASMR, Terrible, Lucifer's Little Kitty Cat, and Yasmin. Welcome, friends. Be sure to thank Justin for access to bonus content. Oh, man. The house next to my son's teacher and one ate her chicken. Damn, yeah. Scary. Why do people clip the tails and ears on Dobies? So sad and unnecessary. My Doberman had long, flappy ears, but his tail was cropped, but that was just because I guess I didn't ask for it or anything like that, but I believe the person we got him from just had already pre-cropped them. And I think he even said we could do the ears, but I think we felt bad for him, so we're like, no, don't do that. Let's actually look that up. Why do they crop Doberman ears and tails? Any dog can be aggressive, I guess, depends on how they're raised, for sure. Yeah, the history plays a big part into it. Alright, Dobermans were originally bred as guard dogs and working dogs. Cropped ears and docked tails minimize the risk of injury during confrontations or when performing their duties such as apprehending criminals or guarding a property. Uncropped ears and long tails were seen as potential vulnerabilities in fights or rough environments, such as with other dogs. That makes sense. Cropped ears were believed to improve the dog's ability to hear sounds more acutely by altering the ear's shape. Docking the tail was thought to reduce injuries in high-risk activities like patrolling or running through dense brush where the dog's tail could get caught or damaged. And I remember hearing that like some dogs like with those like sort of strong, rigid tails like Dobermans, they would wag them so much that if they hit them on a surface, it could potentially break like the bone. Since it's just like extended spine, it could potentially break that extended spine bone, which would stink. But obviously cutting it is not so great either. And then yes, appearance, perception of aggression. Yeah, and then obviously things have shifted since then. But yeah, Doberman's ears are cropped, their tails are cropped. I'm thinking you sometimes see that with Rottweilers as well. You might see it with pit bulls. Just anyone that like needs them to look intimidating, or I guess in certain situations be more effective at getting in fights. Your little rot mix has a wicked solid tail, and that bitch will break your leg. Yeah. It's funny. I love dogs, man. They're so cool. I've been meaning to visit my dad, who still lives in the same house that I spent most of my childhood in. But I think this whole event is still sitting in my subconscious, almost stopping me from returning. Link below is the news article that I looked up after getting off the phone with my dad, and the mugshot is just as creepy. That's the time that my dad encountered a killer without knowing. Let's read it. Marja, what's up? The reading master, it's I. 'Tis I. The Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office found the remains of 20-year-old Dylan Dakota Wetzel in the woods on February 1st. Now 3 suspects have been indicted over Now 3 suspects have been indicted for over 20 charges each, including murder by mob, physically defiling a dead man. Now 3 suspects have been indicted for over 20 charges each, including murder by mob and physically defiling a dead human body. According to a release from the sheriff's office, Dominic M. Samuels, Brennan E. Thompson. Man, why is this one fucking me up? Somehow I like going to true crime is like harder. According to a release from the sheriff's office, Dominic M. Samuels, Brennan E. Thomas, and Bronwyn C. Meeks have all been charged in connection to Wetzel's death. They are currently being held at the Rappahannock Regional Jail. Special Prosecutor David Sands is handling the case in court. Wetzel's body was found in a wooded area near all these places. Wetzel's body was found in a wooded area near Pamunkey. God fucking damn it, dude. As soon as I start this shit, somehow that gets harder. I don't know why. It's actually called Pamunkey. Interesting. Wetzel's body was found in a wooded area near Pamunkey and Finney Road, in the western part of Spotsylvania County. It's the only forest filled with monkeys. Hey man, I've been listening to your stories since during my long-haul trucking trips for years now. Thanks for making my trips not so boring. I actually started writing and posting videos as well. Hey, nice, Frightening Shadows. Let's take a listen. Can we listen to you? Oh, nice. You got all the thumbnails look good, though. Let's take a peek-see. Oh, you got good views, too. 6.7K in 2 weeks is really good for starting out. Dun, 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 dun.
It happened last winter, and to this day, I still can't fully explain what occurred. My friend owns a rental cabin in a small town nestled deep in the Adirondacks. He mostly rents it out on Airbnb, but he told me I could stay there for a weekend for free, with just one condition. I needed to clean up after the last guests. It sounded like a good deal. A cozy weekend in the woods, a little peace and quiet, was exactly what I needed after months of non-stop work. When I arrived, a light snow had already started to fall. The cabin looked picturesque from the outside, but the interior was a different story. Dirty dishes were piled in the sink, beer cans were scattered everywhere, and the garbage was overflowing. The place smelled like cabin, or still was, sent a wave of panic through me. I didn't dare go any closer to check.
Nice. That's awesome. Frightening Shadows. Yeah, if you guys want to subscribe to him, I'm sure he'll make him happy. But that's awesome, dude. I'm glad you're getting into the content game. That's the way to go. All right. Well. What do you guys think? Should we keep going? Is there any other? Maybe we could do one more. One more freaking story. This one's gonna be about jacking off. Oh, Pradeep is here. Hello, buddy. We're gonna go to the subreddit. Grab one quick. Oh, we're gonna get married soon? I don't know. It would be nice. I get really worried sometimes about like the future, you know, because I just don't think that I would fare very well as a single guy with no kids in my 40s, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean that it's not a possibility and that people don't do it and that's life or whatever, but I look at like my grandparents, you know, or I look at my parents and I look at them and I think like, would they be interesting to me as a person if they didn't have like the familial sort of structure? And I don't think so, per se. Like they might have friends here and there, but I feel like most of them would be really, really socially isolated and relatively dissatisfied with their long-term perspectives or legacy or story or whatever it is. And I'm just kind of like, when I look at it that way, I'm like, well, maybe the quicker you get into like establishing a family unit, the better, probably. Not my proudest fab. That's funny. All right, let's look for top ones, maybe of the week here, or the month. Okay, be cautious of rest areas south of Tucson. We'll do that one. That seems fine. Okay, maybe should I? What? Okay, what time is it? Maybe I should take. Yeah, let me go take my magnesium, and I'll be right back. penis. Fuck, it's so cold, dude. I hate cold. The Pennsylvania Penetrator. Case solved. Got him. That's me. That's old me. What's up? Man. I've gone to poo. Anyways, what are you guys doing tomorrow? Am I gonna read? Yeah, we got one more story. We've been recording for like 3 hours for a really important Reddit video. You've heard all the previous ones? We'll throw those out the fucking window. This Reddit story compilation video is gonna make you shit your britches. Double Chop with the 10s has been listening to you for a whole year now. Your channel is about one of the only storytime channels I can stand listening to because of your soothing voice. Happy New Year and thanks for the spooks. You're welcome, Double Chop. Thank you for sticking around for a year. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Working hard. Yeah. But after this, I'm going to spend it all on drugs. So, you know, it's a give and take in life. We all have our vices. I wanted to write out what happened to my dad and I tonight to help others who happen to be driving on Interstate 19. For background, we recently moved to Arizona a week ago, but have had to sleep at the rest area until we find an apartment. It's just been my dad and I for close to 10 years now, and never before have we felt in danger as we did tonight. 7 o'clock rolled by, signaling. A pound of fent. Yeah, you're at like a deli shop, but it's for drugs. Yeah, I'll take a pound of fent. And you got any more Xannies on hand? Oh, perfect. Throw those in there, thank you. Oh, the honey flavored. Oh, perfect. Delicious. Black pepper. Black pepper cocaine. "7 o'clock rolled by, signaling to us it was time to head to the rest area to unwind before sleep, just like the previous night. However, this night would turn out to be more than anything we could have ever imagined. As we were on our way there, we had to get off the freeway exit to turn onto the other side of the freeway. As we were about to get back on, I saw a truck way off in the distance with its lights on. I didn't think anything of it until I realized that the truck started to follow us. And I thought to myself, that's strange. After about 30 seconds, my dad had realized the driver was indeed following us as the headlights were right on us. My dad pulled over on the left side of the freeway and put his emergency lights on to ensure... Oops. My dad pulled over to the left side of the freeway and put his emergency lights on, unsure of what his driver's and... Mother Wombo. My dad pulled over on the left side of the freeway and put his emergency lights on, unsure of what this driver's intentions were. The driver of the truck pulled over on the right side of the freeway, causing the oncoming cars to pull to a complete stop. The driver opened up the door and immediately a trucker began to honk wildly. In that moment, my dad, sensing something bad might actually happen, floored it, picking up speed very fast. The driver followed suit and was hot on our tail, This person did not seem to have any good intentions, and this is when I got on the phone with 911, but because of the connection, it took over a minute to connect. When it did, I told the operator that we were being chased by a driver with very bright headlights and what looked to be a dark-colored pickup truck. Mind you, while I was on the phone with 911, my dad was driving down the side roads in excess of 100 miles per hour. Desperately wanting to escape this driver, my dad turned off all the lights on the car while going at top speed. The truck's headlights began to fade gradually, and feeling that we were about to lose this truck, my dad swerved around 2 corners and put the pedal to the floor for another minute. We realized then that we had lost the driver, and to be doubly sure, my dad drove another 5 miles and pulled off an exit. We drove to the nearest Walmart and stayed there for an hour as per the operator's instructions. I know some may say that the driver could have been trying to maybe tell us something, but when you're in a pretty sketchy situation, especially at night, it's always better to be safe than sorry. It's always better to be Wombo than Chombo. Oh, shit. Alright, dudes, well... yeah, maybe we call it there. Am I a cologne guy? I like cologne. Spritzes. I'm no Jeremy Fragrance, but, you know, I like to smell good. I like to cover myself in human shit. Walk around. But, which ones? I actually bought one from Jeremy Fragrance. And then a friend of mine bought me one that was like the cologne that... who's the guy from the UK? I'm such an idiot. Frightening Shadows. Hey, man, thank you for the 5 gifters. To Jake McHale, Shonda Peary, Silva S., Gigi, and Griffin Hines. Welcome, friends. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you, Frightening. And yeah, go sub to him. Be sure to check out his content, give some support. Don't go to Sephora and smell the perfumes. I wouldn't mind it if it wasn't so creepy. But man, yeah, when I walk by a lassie and she's kind of got the perfume on, it is fucking hard not to like turn into a monkey ape and just be like, oh fuck, that smells pretty good. Thank you so much for that. Who is that guy? Leader during World War II. Fucking UK. Winston Churchill, yeah. Whatever perfume Winston Churchill wore during World War II, or during his day, that's what somebody bought for me, so I spray that on from time to time. But then I have another one called from Jeremy Fragrance called Date Night. And that one smells a little bit like more sex-oriented. The Sniff Simp. The Sniffer. The Pennsylvania Sniffer. Slash Penetrator. Pennsylvania Sniffer, a.k.a. The Penetrator, a.k.a. Diddy of the East. Don't forget to watch Basic Needs, Extreme Happiness. I think it's your type of humor. Okay. Oh, it's a humor thing. Yeah. Does this smell like chloroform? I just wear it on myself so when they come close, they're immediately out. Alright, let's read this outro. Okay. You guys got to think of something funny for me to say at the end. Yeah, I'm sniffing more than Jay Biden, Bo Jiden. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them over at my email, letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories and big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, what are we remembering, ladies and gentlemen? Always consult Mother Butter before going to bed. Mother Butter. Mother Butter Hibbel Lubber. Dove soap should make a perfume. That'd be good. I guess you could just kind of like smear it all over yourself. And remember, music heals the heart. And snappy few beers for New Year's. Let's think. Vaping is bad, okay? Wet wipe, wet pipe, wet snipe. Yeah, we could do that one, I guess. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, wet wipe, wet pipe, wet snipe. They're going to be like, what does it mean? What does it mean? Anyways, thanks for chilling, guys, tonight. Appreciate you. I'm going to get this updated and edited and updated over on Patreon. Uploaded, rather. It's only $1 a month over there for early access. $5 for the bonus content, or if you're a member over here and you got gifted a membership tonight, be sure to go check out the bonus content playlist. There's over 20 videos in that playlist you could binge before your membership runs out. But otherwise, guys, go follow my Twitch page. We got to pump those numbers up. That's genuinely rookie numbers. And yeah, I'll get this up on YouTube tomorrow, 9 p.m. EST. Be sure to watch it right when it comes out. It really helps get the video out there. Otherwise, I will be back streaming, I guess, on Sunday, maybe Saturday, maybe maybe. We'll see. But yeah, go follow me on Instagram. I'll put on my story when I'm going live on there as well, in case the notification bell over here isn't working. Can I play Sims? I never tried Sims before. Do you think I would like it? Or would I get bored and you guys would bully me into certain interior designs? I do hope to play some games, more games streams here soon though, for show. And PhotoFox, welcome to the Butter Sock Cult. You can get married and have children there. Perfect. You know, screw doing it in real life when you got the whole digital world to simulate it. You can talk like a sim. That would get me canceled if I said that for real.